A very good evening, everybody. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Nice to be back with you. Zach Cabin in the chair for Thursday Night Motorsport, Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport. And first up, it's Formula V from the Circuit Park Zandvoort. Interesting choice, if you ask me. Not necessarily the circuit you'd associate with the type of racing that Formula V is all about and the entertainment that goes with it. But at least race 2 will be very entertaining tonight. It's a European doubleheader because we'll go from here, right on the beach, over to Belgium, over to Spa-Francorchamps, and to the penultimate round of the Spreyton side of Porsche Cup as well. I'm Zach Cabin, Daniel Correa-Sars here alongside me. Night 4 of week 9 of term 1 for 2024, or 1912 if you're back where I am in the state of Queensland, of course. Daniel, good evening to you. Not the biggest turn up tonight, but 17 is a good number. And it's crunch time for Adam Lavis. He could potentially make some inroads on John Merritt here, but it could also be a bridge too far because Merritt has got a nice little buffer of drop round points that he will call into action tonight ahead of the finale next week. When you look at the previous 8 rounds thus far, he's been third in one round. He didn't turn up for one, and he's won the rest of them. So, I mean, it's good fishing for John Merritt there. 98 points the margin at the top of the tree at the moment from Adam Lavis on 453. Daylight to Tony Baker, who's got Phil King nipping at his heels. Then we go back to Matt Schmidtke, Sam Chapman, Kevin Henderson, Joe Baldwin, Pete Natson, and Brendan Neal on the top 10. So, the cars are about to line up on the grid. We're ready to rock and roll. That's the circuit. That's the lay of the land tonight. 10:55 local time, clear as a bell, because Formula V wasn't incorporated into the iRacing wet weather update just yet. March 27, 2024, so we skipped a few days ahead in time, unlike us to be doing that, of course. 24 kilometre an hour winds, 19 degrees the ambient, 23 the circuit temperature at the moment. It's a 4.21 kilometre course. Trenton, Adam Lavis on the front row, David Baz, Joe Baldwin the second, Sam Chapman, Kevin Henderson the third, Wayne Vizard, Daniel Piper the fourth, Phil King and Adam Proctor from row 5. 6 is, of course, Sean McKenzie and Dane Nofter. 7, Brendan Nealon and Chris Stark. 8, Greg Paget, and Michael Latter. Row 9, Matt Schmidtke, all on his lonesome. Mate, nice to have you on board. We've got cars lining up on the grid. Just when Adam Lavis thinks, oh, well, I won't have to deal with Merritt tonight, his brother turns up to give him a fight.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, he does. I'm curious to see whether or not Trent will actually have the pace on Adam. Qualifying says he does, because of course that is Trent starting on the front row. So it in the grand scheme of things, it won't matter because obviously Trent isn't anywhere near. Actually, I don't even think he's in the top 25. I think he barely ever showed up for the V. So basically, yeah, he's just here to be annoying.
To be a nuisance. And we talk about those wild card cameos that come in, make their presence known and leave again. We talk about at this point of the season every bloody term. Set for a start, Thursday night motorsport, penultimate one of the opening term. Let's go, penultimate one of March as well. This time next week we'll be on the cusp of Easter. It will be the final night of grand final week for us. Beautiful start from Trent Lavis. Got the jump on Adam, who is hanging very tightly across the ripple strip through the opening corner of this 4-kilometre lap at the circuit park. Zandvoort, home, of course, to the Dutch Grand Prix these days. Great start from Joe Baldwin, up 2 spots early, and there goes Hendo. Into the wall. Tripped up early in the piece. Geez, he's one to watch in Formula V so often. No, that's not going anywhere, Hendo. Put that on the tow rope, son. Oh, there's been more carnage above. Beyond where Hendo came undone. That was the famous roller coaster slope hairpin, of course, that they roll through there. The banked NASCAR-esque tribute. 1 minute gone. It is a 10-minute race, of course. Hendo's on the tow rope. Baldwin was one of the ones that came unstuck. So too Lavis and also Vizzer and Daniel Piper. So there was 4 cars, no less than 4 Formula Vs involved in that incident at turn 4. 5 drivers have come unstuck already. They've got an invoice to pay early in the piece. Have a look at this. Baldwin, big go. Yep, there he goes. And Lavis on the oil as well. I'm not sure they do have oil in Formula V in the iRacing matrix, but it certainly looked like Lavis slipped on something as Joe Baldwin came unstuck there. Oh boy.
Oh, that's a precarious place to spin.
You're going to have to explain what's going on to me, please, Daniel, because your screen's frozen at my end. Matt Schmidtke coming unstuck. As I look at the timing monitor, now I've got it back. That's okay. Crisis averted. Trent Lavis is going to lead us to the end of the opening lap. Sam Chapman up to second, then Adam Proctor, 2 of the regular protagonists. Chris Stark up 10 spots already, and Sean McKenzie up 6. So this is the sort of race where that invert situation, Daniel, might not actually be so inverted after all, because of all the chopping and changing that's already happened to this order on the opening lap. Hendo on the tow rope in pit lane. Joe Baldwin, the rear of the field at the moment, chasing Wayne Vizard. Daniel Piper, Matt Schmidtke's dropped back down to 13th. Lavis and Baz have both got themselves back up to 9th and 10th respectively. So Baz came unstuck early in the piece there. As they make their way to turn 2 once more. It's a 2-minute lap around here, so we're not looking at too much change out of a 5-lap race here. We might scrape in a 6th. We'll wait and see what the flying lap times are like before we jump the gun there. And if we do get a 6th lap, we'll have a fair chunk of overtime attached to it. Let's have a look. This is what happened to Michael Ladder. The KFC entry, but that's not finger looking good.
Yeah, so looking at... they've avoided him well. Looking at where they are, they're sliding. The initial one just seems to be cold tyres, and they've turned in too hard. It's well known that the thin width of these tyres, they don't do well when the tyre's not at its optimal temperature. So I feel like that's what's happened at the early stage. And then, of course, Matt Schmidtke and I believe it was David Baz also getting unstuck just down here on your screen where the Proctor is coming through now. And that's not a great spot because you need to be on that inside line when you're coming through that chicane. So if you're blocking it, most likely you're going to get run into by your competitors. It doesn't seem like there was a massive incident there, though. Everyone seemed to... The benefit, of course, of the Formula Vs being that they're obviously not as fast as any other formula. They're much slower on that respect, so there's a little bit more time to react. But as it stands now, Trent Lavis managed to avoid all of that. He went out in front and stayed ahead 4.6 seconds down the road. Sam Chapman, who is the one on your screen at the moment, Adam Proctor looking to try and draft him. See if we can maybe get a pass going into turn 1. But for now, I feel like he might just stay behind and abuse the draft a little bit longer.
Huge night of sport, of course, right around the country. The Aussies taking on Lebanon in FIFA World Cup qualifiers, of course. The first of 2 to be played in Australia in the next 6 days or so. Then, of course, you've got your regular dose of Thursday night NRL and AFL. The AFL St Kilda up against Collingwood. The NRL Penrith up against Brisbane. Score updates right throughout. And if you're a motorsport fan, well, I'd recommend taking the sickie tomorrow and just park yourself on the couch for the next few days, because there is sport coming out of every corner of the globe. I mean, 2- and 4-wheel action, the ASBK, the World Superbikes, MotoGP, and as far as the 4-wheelers are concerned, NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula 1 and Supercars! Chris Starks got into the back of Phil King! No, not Phil King, Sean McKenzie, my apologies. King went past there on the outside as Starkey was going sideways. Starkey was having a good run too. Up inside the top 5. Now he drops to 8th. So yeah, NASCAR from Coda on Monday morning. The IndyCar $1 Million Challenge on as well, early hours Monday morning. MotoGP late Sunday night from Portugal. And of course the Australian Formula 1 Grand Prix. Well done, Josh Zuno. Of course, that's being ably supported by Formula 2, Formula 3 and a couple of Australian categories by the sounds of it as well. So it'll be a big weekend at Albert Park. Good evening to you, Josh. Nice to have you on board, mate. This is the end of the 6th minute, the end of the 3rd lap. Trent Lavis has just started lap number 4. 1:58.219 across the line. I tell you what, it's going to be touch and go. Next time by the line, we need to have a look at Barney and check out 2 things. Firstly, that he's doing his bloody job. And secondly, whether he's got a white flag in the air or not. Because by my mathematics at the moment, if Lavis is punching out 1:58, he's done it twice now. That's got us back inside regular time. We'll be about 4 seconds under that 2-minute threshold when we get back to the line. And therefore, I think by about 6 seconds, we could scrape in an extra lap, a 6th lap if you like. But iRacing might curtail the fun. We'll wait and see. 7 minutes in, Chris Stark back in 9th place now. So many drivers have come unstuck in this race, and it was particularly bad, and we never got a chance to get back to it, Daniel Caressa. It was particularly bad luck for Adam Lavis getting caught up in that incident early in the piece, because now he's down the order in 10th place, so he's obviously had another moment, because he had got himself back up inside the top 10. and now finds himself on the cusp of having a crack at Starkey here in 9th, because he needed to make hay while the sun shines tonight in the absence of John Merritt. Hasn't been able to do that first up. Sam Chapman, his championship campaign's a case of what might have been. There are so many interesting storylines to follow when we get into this invert top 10 race next up.
Yeah, that's right. So as it stands now, obviously, I'm curious to know if Adam's going to try and look at it from a competition perspective. He is P10 right now, which means he would start on pole in the upcoming race. Now, does he decide... Whoa, there's Chris Stark goes sideways.
Oh, dear.
And luckily, he does not get in the way.
So that ruins that theory, because Lavis goes to 9th by default.
There we go. So he'll start P2 should he decide to stay. Now, we'll just...
Do we have a white flag?
Yes, we'll have a look at that. If we jump on board with...
Is Barney holding his flag? Let's wait and see. No, he's not. So I think we're okay for the moment. We continue on for another lap. We'll get a 6th lap in here. We'll get no change from 8 laps in the next 2 races because of the 15-minute threshold. 8-2 is a 16, so we'll get home sometime there in the 16th minute. Trent Lavis leads Sam Chapman, Adam Proctor. I did set up last lap Zach cameras tonight, but haven't needed to implement them because, well, frankly, the first battle on the racetrack is for 6th, and that's not exactly in the position battle, is it? For the top end of the tree, the podium, as they say, and we're only talking about the podium, stupidly so, before we got on air this evening, Daniel Correa. So more on that later on, and I want to have a swing at 2 things: Motorsport Australia and the state of Queensland a little bit later on if we get a chance as well. 9 minutes gone, 1 to go, and Trent Lavis leads us by 4.98 seconds. Sam Chapman, who's got 2.5 on Adam Proctor, who has 5 on Phil King, who has 2.5 on Sean McKenzie, 2.5 back then to David Baz. 18 seconds down the road from Trent Lavis is where you find this battle. David Baz, Dane Noftev, and Brendan Nealon, who we're riding on board with at the moment. And then we get back to Adam Lavis. Wayne Visser has just placed Starkey out of the top 10 now. Starkey would love nothing more than to get back in the top 10 and get some clear air by a free pass, if you like, to the front of the field and take advantage of a free kick at the start of this second race. We'll wait and see with bated breath very shortly how that all plays out. Main straight, 1 to go for T. Lavis. 10 seconds left on the clock. He'll get back to the line. There's the white flag in the air. 1 to go at Zandvoort. Double white flag, actually. Well done, Barney. Barney's got a friend.
One of the rare tracks.
We can no longer call him Nigel. So Lavis leads this one rather comfortably. Commanding performance. Lights out the checkered flag, had the lead in turn 1, avoided all the chaos behind him. Started off by his teammates Joe Baldwin and Adam Lavis, and has just gone on with it. There is no catching them around here when you build a sizable enough advantage, given how evenly matched they are on lap times. Something goes slightly awry for one of your counterparts. That's it. They're playing catch-up for the rest of the night. You lose the toe, you lose the slipstream, and there aren't too many opportunities to slipstream and draft around here, as we know. So once you lose it, forget about it. Into the 11th minute. Lavis leads Chapman, Proctor, King, McKenzie, Baz. Nofta for Nealon having a great scrap for 7th at the moment. This is the battle. We're riding on board with Brendan Nealon. Wayne Visser has been passed by Chris Stark. Stark has got back to 10th. Viz is right there. Now, injury at the Melbourne Cricket Ground as well, so that first quarter between Collingwood and St Kilda is going to stretch out a few minutes longer. The player down on his haunches. And the NRL about to start between Penrith and Brisbane as well. But Trent Lavis is into the last corner here. A snore by Formula V standards, let's be honest. I'll call a spade, we know that. Checkered flag in the air. If it's not Adam getting the job done or John Merritt getting the job done, it's wild cards like Trent Lavis. A cameo appearance that chalks up a win. And well played, Trent Lavis. Job done by 5.7 in the end of Sam Chapman. Adam Proctor, Phil King in fourth. Then Sean McKenzie holding off David Baz. Dane Noftiff, Brendan Nealon, Adam Lavis right there at the end with Nealon, can't get him. And Chris Stark will inherit the invert pole. Wayne Visser 11th. The locked up SimSport entries going line astern across the line there. Very well done. Joe Baldwin, photo for Padgett, edged out by Schmidtke. Joe Baldwin was 12th, Schmidtke 13th, and Greg Padgett 14th. Michael Ladder and Kevin Henderson to round out the field, and Daniel Piper finished all up down. So that gives you an indication as to some of the hard luck stories in this field already on a Thursday night. But yeah, the brush-in job of Trent Lavis just rocking up to throw a cut amongst the pigeons as a wild card, and he reaps the rewards of victory and does so very nicely, and one of the bigger winning margins you'll see in Formula V for Spreyton Cider on a Thursday night here as well.
Yeah, definitely. 5.72 seconds. Trent really did go away with that one, and I'm curious if it's really to do with that initial bunch of cars that went off around the first banked corner. Maybe that threw the cat amongst the pigeons, as they say, and everyone behind Trent sort of got held up on it, and so he managed to take that momentum and nobody could catch him in the draft, and so by that point it was just, absolutely away with it.
Cars now lining up on the grid, getting ready for race 2. The invert top 10. Chris Stark, Adam Lavis front row, Brendan Nealon, Dane Noftiff second row, David Baz, Sean McKenzie third row, Phil King, Adam Proctor fourth row, Sam Chapman, Trent Lavis from row 5. Visser and Baldwin from 6, Schmidtke and Padgett from 7, Ladder and Henderson from 8, and Daniel Piper rear of field in position number 17, row number 9. We are ready to fire. We're waiting for Sam Chapman to join us. Now he does, and we are in the starter's hands. Set to fire. Second of 3, 8 laps the distance, should we go green all the way. And it's going to be interesting to see how sketchy it is on the opening lap here as the fast cars from the opening race try and work their way back through. Adam Lavis, a beautiful start, got the inside on Chris Stark and leads to turn 1. Starkey wants to force the issue around the outside. Can't do so. Yields and tucks back in. Through they go. So Lavis, Stark, Nealon, Baz, Noftiff, McKenzie, King and Chapman. Chapman down the inside.
Oh,
trouble.
Starkey.
Starkey's gone. This is exactly what we spoke about. Down 16 spots from hero to 0. And all the work to do for him now. We were worried about how some of the guys that ran into trouble in race 1 were going to work their way back through, and how some of the guys that brought some luck in race 1 were going to fare in race 2, how the cold tyres were going to impact the opening few laps, particularly turns 3 and 4, because that's what tripped everybody up in the opening race, and it's tripped Starkey up in race 2. There's Adam Proctor in 9th place at the moment, trying to get down on the inside, does so to 8th. Phil King and Joe Baldwin in behind him, then Wayne Visser, Kevin Henderson, Matt Schmidtke, Daniel Piper, Greg Padgett's dropped down to 16th behind Michael Ladder. Phil King's been turned around, corrected and caught. Picked up, turned around, spat out.
So, looks like Joe Baldwin went on the inside and the tyres
Baldwin
came together.
The inside. Oh.
That's catapulted Phil King's car. So unfortunate for him.
And Sam Chapman now off the road as well, down to 14th for Chapo. So already. Oh, geez, Brendan Nealon, hold on to it, son. Had 2 wheels in the dirt.
Oh, he's done it again.
Madness here.
Have a look at Trent. He's going to shoot
up
up on the left.
4 wide. Lavis up the outside. That's 4 wide for the first time tonight. Didn't think we'd see that at Zandvoort. Surely it's 2. No!
Oh.
That was nearly 5 wide. We'll see some of that next week at the island. Don't worry about that. Lavis just weaves his way through the seas. Part gone.
Oh, and Hendo couldn't avoid him either.
1, 2, 3. Adam Lavis to the lead, David Baz second, Trent Lavis now to 3rd. Nealon Baldwin brought a bit of luck in that. Noftiff, Visser, Schmidtke. Oh, Visser's come unstuck now as well, so too Michael Ladder. It was Hendo that got caught up in that. Proctor and Vizza.
Oh.
So Starkey all of a sudden's gained 5 spots again. Greg Padgett had to come into pit lane, get on the tow rope. He's back out in 17th. And yet again, the field has been flipped on its lid. Have a look at some of the positional gains and losses there. That's ridiculous. For Baldwin and Lavis, the hard work's already done.
Yep. No, for sure. So Trent obviously working all his 7 positions gain there up into P3. Joe Baldwin 8 positions gain up into P4. Now, Joe's obviously quite lucky there because of that initial contact with Phil King. He didn't come out with any damage, it seems, and he also didn't get spun around. So I'm not sure if race control will have something to say about that. I haven't seen anything come up yet, so that'll be deliberated on their part. But for Adam Lavis, his day, and gets a little too hot into the corner. Ends up spinning it around, so now he'll drop down a couple of positions.
Uh-oh, Danoff clouts the wall on reverse.
That was
trying to get out of there, does a little bit more damage to the rear end.
That was so close. That was almost a very bad rejoin, but luckily nobody hit each other, so play on, as they say. So yeah, Adam has just done what his brother did in the first one. Basically, he's got out in front and has absolutely nobody challenging him, and just set the fastest lap to boot, 158.384.
So Lavis, clear, smooth sailing for him at the moment. 2 laps gone, 6 to go. And Adam Lavis, it looks like it could be a Lavis double here. Trent's only 1.5 seconds away from David Baz. We've got our eyes on Sean McKenzie in 8th place at the moment, all over the back of Sam Chapman. Daniel Piper and Phil King immediately behind them. And it's all happening. In comes Kevin Henderson. Out goes Adam Proctor. They're both getting fast repairs done. But that is a death sentence in the races that are only 15 minutes long, let me tell you, especially where pit stops aren't scheduled to be part of the equation. There's no compulsivity regarding pit stops here in Formula V for Spreyton Cider.
So Phil King at the moment is only down 3 positions from the start, so he's managed to recover okay as he chases down Daniel Piper here. And based on the pace, so it was a 2-minute last lap. That was actually his best lap, so actually he's a bit down on that pace. Is he going to look onto the inside here, harder on the brakes? Looks like Daniel Piper gave too much room. Actually, they're side by side. No. Comes out second best. Schmidtke actually makes the overtake on Chris Stark at the back for P10. And as we talk about that, Chris Stark making the overtake again. It's leapfrogging. So Stark back on to P10. And while we're talking about that, the guys at the front are starting to heat up.
Have a look at this. Down the inside, David Baz has been swamped. He's been caught and spat out. A little bit of a nibble, a bit of a chew, and then a spit. Gone. As back to third as Lavis gets through to second. It's a Lavis 1-2 at Circuit Park Zandvoort in the Netherlands. And at least he didn't get tossed out and tipped the way that Phil King did a few moments ago by Joe Baldwin. Wait and see if there's an invoice to pay on that for Joe, who's making light work of getting by David Baz around the inside. Around the outside. And still hanging there as Baz wants to force the issue through the right hand. Oh boy, not much in that. Not much in that at all. To the right hander, Baz holds on for now. Baldwin, the up and under, the up and under, the up and under. Does he take the dive down the inside? You better believe he does. Can't get it done. Baz comes across. Playback underway in the AFL for the moment. 19-13. Collingwood and St Kilda. That's 3-1 playing 2-1. 5.5 to go in the first quarter. So it's going to be a very long first quarter by AFL standards due to the time that play was stopped for an injured player. The NRL just getting underway as well, and the Socceroos getting underway too. So a big Thursday night of sport. Bigger than usual. Just like when the Olympics will be on later in the year, you'll need your sports bar set up, ladies and gentlemen, because we're here till about 10:30 tonight. We've got an hour of Porsche racing coming away from Spa very shortly, the second and final 60-minute race of the campaign before a 3-race sprint format next Thursday night brings the curtain down on the turn. And of course, we've still got a Formula V race to come yet as Joe Baldwin gets the slipstream, gets the draft toe. The advantage down the inside, gets the run on David Baz and goes to third. So, Baz wants to stick there and force the issue again and will successfully do so. He's making life rather difficult for Joe Baldwin here. Absolutely.
Oh, no, there's contact.
Oh, contact, and they're both in the wall.
Oh, no, Joe almost got away with it. Oh, no.
They're both in trouble. They're both caught. They're both gone. I don't think Trucker's going to be able to drive. Oh, he is going to be able to drive away from that one. But have a look at this. So, Baz came across to the right-hand side, clipped the front left of Joe. And then Joe, he clouded the wall, bounced off that, and then tried to drive around the outside of the spinning Baz and caught him on the rebound.
Looks like the tyres are intact, so he should be able to continue on. But yes, unfortunately, he's now dropped down to 7th position. And so all of that fighting has gone by the wayside. Sean McKenzie is within attack range of David Baz, who he himself is in attack range of Sam Chapman. But as it stands at the front, there's a 2-second gap between the Lavis brothers. Adam, of course, leading the charge. Based on the last lap times, Adam did a 1:58.24. Trent Lavis with a 1:58 flat. I don't think that Lavis will be able to make us, Trent, I should say, will not be able to make up that 2-second deficit in the next couple of laps because he doesn't have any draft or advantage. Having said that, though, if Adam lets the pressure get to him and he slips just a bit, we might see the gap come down enough to where he is within draft range, and then the fight is truly on.
Indeed it is. It's going to be a hell of a night here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and a hell of a finish to this second race as they come down the main straight one more time. 3 laps to go. Lavis leads Lavis. Nealon, Chapman, Baz fighting for third. So Baz far better out of that one than Joe came out of it. No doubt about that. He's still in with a chance of ending up where he was at the time of the incident. He's right there with Chapman and Nealon. McKenzie, King, Piper, Schmidtke, Stark, Vizza, Noctif, and Latta take us back to 13. Joe Baldwin in to get... Oh, no, there goes Buzz again. Same corner. No contact this time round. All on his own. Joe Baldwin has the fastest lap of the race, 1:57.528. Proctor, Henderson, and Padgett have also been along pit road for a fast repair. Oh, boy.
And Zach, just take a look at the last...
And now look at Trent Lavis. Look at Trent Lavis.
Yeah, just look at the last lap times of both the Lavises up there. That's what I said. If Adam had made a slip, that Trent was going to take up that difference and possibly get into draft range. And what happened? Adam did a 1:59.08 and Trent Lavis did a 1:57.89, which is the fastest lap of his. It's not the fastest lap of the race because Sam Chapman did do a 1:57.58 last lap. But that's the thing. Adam, I'm not sure exactly what's happened. Maybe the pressure's getting to him. But now the fight is on because Trent is in that draft, and the Zandvoort is notorious for the last section, that big sweeping right banked corner. We've seen it time and time again. The draft is very, very powerful towards that finish line. So Adam's going to have to pull everything out here to keep the lead.
So there's 2 things here. Adam's just proving to everybody at home that it's very difficult to lead these things and run on your own at full tilt. Trent's pulled in a couple of screamers and reeled him in, and now all of a sudden it's going to be teammate versus teammate, sibling v sibling when we get to the final lap next time by the line.
Yeah, look at that. 1:58.4 to a 1:57.9. Trent is putting that pedal through the firewall.
So 1:57.52. 1:57.52, the fastest lap of the race for Joe Baldwin. Sam Chapman a 1:57.58. Trent a 1:57.89. So 3 men in the 57th at the moment. We have got 1.5 laps to go. All happening here. Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Great to have you along for the ride. Lavis, Chapman, McKenzie and Nealon. Nealon giving McKenzie a good hurry up at the moment. Baz back to 6th after that second spin. King and Piper, the next one's through. Daniel Piper up 9 spots at the moment, biggest mover of the lot. Starkey's ended up back inside the top 10 with all the attrition around him. So Joe's double hit, unfortunately, has resulted in transit down pit lane for fast repair. He's one of 4 drivers to have done that in this race alone. It's all happening. I mean, John Merritt, you got to take your hat off to him. I know he's not here tonight, Daniel, but you've got to take your hat off to him, don't you, mate? Because he shows time and time again just how easy he makes this craft look. But Adam Lavis is showing us tonight that it's not terribly easy at all. It is so difficult to build a lead in these things and then maintain them. And maintain that outright speed to the point where, as we approach the start of the final lap and potentially a last lap thriller of the sibling variety, he's old racing in the real world brother, Trent Lavis, is right there nipping at his heels and now goes to the outside. So Lavis and Lavis as we hit the white flag and Trent initiates the duel to the outside. A few moments ago, we were looking at this thinking it could be Lavis winning race 1, Lavis winning race 2, 2 different winners. But now it looks like all of a sudden Trent's in the position to double up. Oh boy. That was beautiful from Trent Lavis. Got the perfect run out of the final corner onto the main straight and went down the outside to get by Adam. The 2 siblings going at it on the final lap at Circuit Park Zandvoort. We ride with Adam, our producer and co-commentator on a Monday night. We've got some news regarding that too very shortly for you, ladies and gentlemen, which I think you're going to like. We've got him up against his old mate, our old mate, Trent Lavis. If Chris Whitaker's tuning in anywhere at home tonight, he'd be absolutely loving this. Lavis v Lavis. Chapman is 3rd, McKenzie is 4th, and Nealon is 5th. And it's important to remember, whilst Trent has achieved some great things in real-world motorsport, he's not a GSRC Hall of Fame member yet, life member. Adam is. So, I mean, for all their achievements, they're on different avenues as far as their achievements within this club are concerned, because Adam's got that life membership and Trent's going out in pursuit of it, I'd say. Let's have a look at this. Down to the final sequence of corners. Great run from Trent Lavis to get his way back through the field, work away at it, and it wasn't straightforward, it wasn't easy. But he reeled Adam in, and in the next short while, we're going to see, have a look at this.
Trent!
Have a look at this. The gamesmanship, the teamwork,
yeah.
the gentlemanly nature of Trent Lavis on show for everybody to see, so that his brother can come through and take maximum points to continue the fight with John Merritt in the championship. Well, that's sportsmanship right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is what the GSRC is all about. Adam Lavis gets the job done, as Trent Lavis does the old Michael Schumacher, Rubens Barrichello, Austria trick of many moons ago. And have a look at Nealon up on the outside. Can he get to McKenzie by the line? No. 100th of a second. 100th of a second. That's all it was. Lavis from Lavis, Chapman, McKenzie, Nealon, then Baz, Piper, King, Schmidtke, King and Piper. It was King in the end by .00. Piper in the end by .00 over King, 7th and 8th. Wow. Schmidtke, Vizza, that battle that you just saw on the screen there was Stark and Noftiv coming through, .12 the margin there. Then Baldwin, Ladder, Proctor, Henderson and Padgett. Now, everyone got home on the lead lap, but the field very well spread out because 4 of them had already made a trip down pit lane for an invoice. And Adam Lavis, after being gobbled up at the start of the last lap, gets gifted a free pass and gets a W to his name. Well played, Trent Lavis. So I do like that, because we often talk about the way in which these non-regular competitors of ours make their presence known when they're available to, when they've got the chance, once or twice here and there. They come in to have a hit and take the fight to our regulars who are fighting for championships. They can't win the championship, but they can win rounds. They can shape the framework of the championship landscape. And in this particular instance, sportsmanship wins, because Trent knows that Adam's fighting for the overall title and he is not. Well played. Into the warm-up we'll go. There are the results from race 1, just recapping. Trent Lavis by 5.7 in the end. Race 2, far smaller winning margin, but in favour of Adam Lavis over Trent. We've got 2 different winners to start the night. Will we get a third? We shall wait and see. And then, of course, all roads lead to Spa for a 60-minute hit-out in the Porsches. And when iRacing dropped the updates, did the Porsche Cup get hit with the rain treatment or not?
No, they did not. So,
oh, what? How depressing.
Yeah, I know, so because of all the classes, the Porsche Cup.
I know, and all the circuits.
Yeah, exactly. The Porsche Cup would have definitely been the one to do. I'd only imagine that that'll be soon, if not in the next big update across the cars. But if people thought that the Porsche 992 was difficult to handle already, Jesus, now we're going to add water.
Exactly, and already looking forward to Monday night on that note. Join us Monday. So, grand final week. Let's just advertise the hell out of this before we go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, before we get cars on the grid for race 3. Grand final week on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for Term 1 of 2024 is nothing short of massive. 4's the magic number there. 4 nights of broadcast. We are live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to bring you 7 championship grand finales. Adam Lavis will be here with me Monday, Tuesday night. Daniel Correa-Sarr, Wednesday, Thursday. Remembering that the GT1 Civil War grand final gets pushed back a week to accommodate an extended up-and-comers grand finale. We'll bring that to you Tuesday night for Leipzig Racing. Wednesday night will be, of course, the GT4 finale, the curtain raiser to which will be the Toyota 86s. And Thursday night will be usual programming. Monday night, a slightly earlier start, 7:25 Eastern Daylight Time, for a 45-minute hit out in the supercars before 90 minutes of GT3. More on that a little bit later, but grand final week, we are upping the ante. 4 nights. Looking forward to your company, Monday through Thursday next week. Adam Lavis, Trent Lavis, 1 and 2. Sam Chapman, Sean McKenzie from the second row. Then we go to Brendan Nealon and David Baz, Daniel Piper and Phil King, Matt Schmidtke and Wayne Visser, the top 5 rows on the grid. Chris Stark, Dane Nofter, Joe Baldwin, Michael Ladder, Adam Proctor, Kevin Henderson and Greg Padgett make up the field of 17. We're ready to rock and roll again here at Circuit Park Zandvoort. You know what perplexes me this morning, I must say, as we wait for Starkey to maybe join us, maybe not. The opening to the broadcast on Fox Sports where they said, "Welcome to the biggest week in Australian motorsport." Well, they usually pull out that tagline for the Bathurst 1000, I would have thought. But anyway, more on that in a moment, because there's a few people on my hit list tonight and I haven't been on air for a week and a half. Adam Lavis gets a beautiful start as we get race 3 underway. Got the better of Sam Chapman. Trent Lavis bogged it down, but fights back on the inside to take second through turn 2 for the first time. Very nicely done. Lavis leads Lavis. Adam leading Trent. Will there be trouble at turn 4? We've had incidents here in the first 2 races. They're good so far, except to say that Chris Stark... Oh, Greg Padgett spun. Except to say that Chris Stark has started from pit lane, maybe to avoid all that said carnage, and has now got on himself back on the tow rope as well. So Starkey's out of business. Starkey's back in pit lane, out of business, and will take no further part, I would suspect. That's unfortunate for Stark. He had got out there. He started from pit lane, and it's all gone belly up. Adam Lavis leads Trent Lavis, Sam Chapman right there. So basically, I get the feeling, Daniel, that Trent Lavis is going to be used or utilised as somewhat of a roadblock here potentially for Sam Chapman.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. Sam Chapman, of course, going right there. So Trent Lavis moving up forward. I'm curious to see if maybe he'll allow Adam to go down on the inside. It doesn't seem like it. Adam still maintains that P2, though. So it's a good drive as they come to the last sector. So Trent Lavis will lead. Sam Chapman's still in third. And you can only imagine that Sam Chapman's going to attack more viciously than ever it being the last race for the Formula Vs tonight. But the problem will be this. If Trent Lavis goes too far ahead, Adam can't utilise the draft, which is, well, Sam Chapman's going to try and shoot off to the left now. And we'll see how this goes as they go side by side towards turn 1.
Lavis has the line, but Chapman has the edge. He's got his nose in front. Lavis back down the inside. Very nicely done. Chapman wants to force the issue around the outside and can do just that. Have a look at that. Chapman to second. Good luck, Trent.
David Baz is side by side here.
Adam Lavis. Baz around the outside at 3. Inside for 4. And he gets ahead of Adam Lavis now.
And all that
Proctor's been passed by Padgett, so something's gone awry for Adam Proctor. He's on the tow rope and in pit lane. And Wayne Viz's off the road as well.
Yeah, there's a few crashes here, and I'll just keep an eye on this one as we see Sean McKenzie now trying to get into this fight for P3. David Baz is still on the lead, and all of this evolved because Adam Lavis held that inside line in the turn 1 and did not get the exit that he wanted. You saw Trent shoot off to the left side of the track. You saw Sam do the same, and that gives them the biggest arc going into that big turn 1. So it was just unfortunate there for Adam. He really did get the short end of the stick. But we've still got plenty of time to go, so if he can just make the jump here on David Baz and catch back up to Sam Chapman, then his fight's still in it. But Trent's also going to have to be careful, because we know what Sam Chapman's like when he smells blood in the water.
Yes.
So hopefully it's chaos-free.
Usually hooks it. 3 minutes 40 seconds gone, and Trent Lavis the leader. So Chapman, Baz, and all of a sudden Adam boxed in a real fight here. Chris Stark has got back out on the racetrack. Not sure what the problem was there, but he's been on pit road for 3 minutes. That's a long tow in this game. And Joe Baldwin, whoa, almost out of real estate there, trying to get down the inside. Will follow McKenzie through, now makes it 3 wide as he gets to the right of McKenzie, but to the left of Philip King. And wedges his way through the middle. Well done, Joe Baldwin.
Nice pass.
Very nice. 2 for 1. Oh, King's gone wide. And Schmidtke and Nealon find their way by. No, sorry. Latch onto his tail. It was Daniel Piper that found his way by. Sean McKenzie just ahead of him. And Trent Lavis has been passed by Sam Chapman. We might yet get our wish. We might yet get 3 different winners in 3 races. So what Zandvoort's lacking in terms of field depth and also maybe, pure Formula V 10 out of 10, 110% off the limiter action, it's making up for in variety as far as the results board is concerned because of the carnage on the circuit. So Dane Noftoff on the tow rope. Chris Stark back out of, Chris Stark out of the race. Whoa! Trouble! I think I saw Phil King getting passed by Matt Schmidtke, but I thought I saw a car going exit stage left, but I think we're okay. That might have just been the camera in my eyes deceiving me. Dane Noftoff's got back out onto the circuit. Adam Proctor still on the tow rope in pit lane, 2 minutes 44 seconds. And Chris Stark has got back out on the circuit. And that was him, though. They were all passing on the run down to the back chicane.
Oh, David Baz goes wide, ends up clipping the tyre barrier.
Did he not wreck the car then? How did he not wreck himself? Wow.
Very true. A glancing blow, I suppose. If you hit these flush, there's enough.
He's had a couple of cracks at turning it into a coup-de-deux tonight.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. He's definitely given a red-hot go, and each time he's been able to get away with it. And here we go. Look, have a look at that train here. So Joe Baldwin has managed to catch up to this front 4. Trent Lavis is going to be in the inside. This is going to be disadvantageous. Sam Chapman's probably going to have speed around the outside. Adam Lavis might be able to grab a draft here as well. And Joe Baldwin's going to try everything in his power to not let him get away.
There was definite contact wheel banging there between Lavis and Chapman. Trent, that is. Adam's 3rd, Joe's 4th. And Chapman's got 3 teammates from the same Aussie Racers stable right on his clucker at the moment. He would be feeling the heat and pressure mounting. So he's the one with the target on his back. They are looming large. Just, as I like to say, all over him like a cheap suit at the moment. But they're not cheap suits, those Aussie racer ones. And there's 3 of them ganging up.
Oh, no, Trent!
Oh, no, there goes Trent! Of all the things you didn't expect to see, there's Trent running into trouble. Has anyone not had a spin tonight? Has anyone not had a spin?
That's a fair call, I'm not sure.
Wow. Has
Oh,
anyone
there was
not
actually
run into trouble
contact
at some
there.
point? Oh, dear.
Yeah.
You never like to see that between the teammates.
Right, so that's where he's been caught out. If you have a look here, so he comes up and you'll just see he dives a little bit too hard, realises he has to bleed speed. There's the touch from the tyre. And it spun him around. Luckily, he hasn't hit anybody on the way round, but that does take him out of the front, which means Adam has one less friend at the front end to be able to help him in this fight. 1.4 seconds now the gap between Sam Chapman and Adam Lavis. There is plenty of race yet to go, so Adam can make up the deficit, but it does hinge on the idea that Joe doesn't fight him too hard. And I know Joe, and I don't think he cares very much, because that's him going around the outside. And David Baz might shoot to the inside. No, Adam did smart there and cut off the advance. So he should only have to lose one position now.
Yep.
But all this fighting means that Sam Chapman's going to just drive off if they're not careful.
This is race 27 of the campaign. Spreyton side of Formula V. It's been good fun. I'm reliably informed that it looked a little bit abnormal for those watching on from home last week because you were watching on in silence. No commentary provided last Thursday night. I was absent. No one else available to substitute for me. And just as well, I did rule myself out because I didn't take the microphone that I used to broadcast sim racing to Sestock in the end. I thought I did, and then I got home last night, and there it was on the desk. I was like, hang on, how did you get there? So, yes, that would have been rather inconvenience had I been rostered on and not taken the night off. Down the inside, David Baz makes light work of Adam Lavis, goes to third. So for the second time tonight, it's that trio, isn't it? It's Baldwin, Baz and Lavis. And Baz has been the wild card in all of this. The unknown entity. We've seen him impress in Ferraris and GT3 so far throughout the course of the season. But now trying his hand at Formula V, and it's going okay at the moment. Couple of spins, couple of little, you know, blips in the road, but at the moment, midway point, nearly 5 laps gone of 8 of this third and final race. He's looking good in 7th. He's got in 2nd rather. He's got by Adam Lavis. He's got by Joe Baldwin. The Aussie racer boys have been left behind in the absence of their team leader, Trent Lavis. Maverick to the outside, takes Baldwin with him.
Oh, my Lord!
What was going on there from David Baz? Very quick, very opportunistic and very smart evasive action, lucky evasive action taken by Joe Baldwin. My goodness, that could have been catastrophic. And it's still going. It's still going. Now they're wrecking. Now they're wrecking. As a Baldwin are gone. And gone goes a certain podium for both of them. Wow. Yeah. David Baz and Joe Baldwin, we need to have a look at that incident again in its entirety. What about this down the main straight? Have a look at it. Watch Joe Baldwin. Whoa. Watch the gap just get sucked out away from him.
There's the wheel touch there.
And then it gets worse. Look at this. And Baz wanted to force the issue. On the inside, Baldwin trying to defend. Whoa.
Yeah, and there they go.
There's
they
the
interlock. Yep. So it's really unfortunate there. They were having such a good race. I'm a little on the fence about the move there from David Baz earlier on, because
almost chopped him off.
He really did. And if Joe hadn't adjusted either, he definitely would have run up the back of him. So it was good evasive action there from Joe. But unfortunately, then David Baz tried to sit on a piece of real estate that he couldn't really fit on. Having said that, he was on it. And they were alongside, so you can make the argument. Yeah, you can make the argument that Joe should have given a little bit more room. But once those tyres came together. It was just unfortunate that they interlock. They linked up, because sometimes they'll just glance off, they'll just bounce, and you'll be able to survive it. But if they come together, that is the unfortunate problem with open wheel racing, is that you don't have the protection of bodywork. And so yeah, they came together, spun off, and now both of them have suffered. David Baz has gone down to P7, and Joe Baldwin down to P10. Oh, actually P9 now. Just got that position back.
It reminded me, as I said, you just watched that little bit of real estate, that little bit of breathing space. You just watched it disappear. His clear view just got, reefed out from under him as Baz slotted through there as best he could. And now he's trying to fight back through the field, and now it's getting ugly because there's three of them, three different lines through turn 4, and the same again. The same again, the switchback, the chopping. David Baz taking no prisoners at the moment. And now he displaces Phil King up into 6th again.
So that one was a smart move by him, admittedly, because what happened was he took the higher line through the banked corner, which meant he carried more speed and more momentum. And when he came out like a slingshot, and he was getting really close to Phil King. Saw that Matt Schmidtke was a little lower than, a little further, I should say, than he thought he'd be on the exit. Saw that there was a gap and just took it. And maybe that's where it comes undone. This is one of those damned if you do. As I speak, he gets a little too hot into the corner and spins, and it looks like Phil King did the same. And so they will drop back down. But that's the thing, David Baz seems to have this sense where he can fit his car into a gap with millimeters to spare, but unfortunately that same aggression has seen him undone 3 times. In each of the 3 races we've had, multiple times, in fact.
Next time by the line, white flag in the air for Sam Chapman. 2.7 of the good on Adam Lavis. Sean McKenzie's got Trent Lavis and Daniel Piper for company. It's a 3-way fight for 3rd. The final spot on the podium up for grabs. 3 different winners in 3 races. A real possibility if Chapo can keep it straight for the next 4 kilometres. Lavis to the inside, fending off Piper to the outside. Baldwin's got Matt Schmidtke all over him like a cheap suit at the moment. In fact, there they are side by side. Whoa, Trent's gone! Contact with Sean McKenzie, and Lavis is gone. So Lavis is done, down to 7th. He'll get back on the track, but my God, have a look at this for a moment. All on his own.
Just ran into the back of McKenzie there. Maybe McKenzie broke a little earlier than Trent was expecting. That does happen, of course. Sometimes drivers have differing brake markers. Yeah, exactly.
About it.
Exactly.
My God.
It's a big
Just
hit,
ridiculous.
Too. Big hit.
Some of the shunts we've seen tonight, unbelievable. So what it's lacked in, last lap thrillers, it's made up for in blooper moments for the highlight reel at the end of the season, and for the new intro next term as well. So there's David Baz again. Will he find himself in trouble again before the checkered flag flies? We'll find out. He's got half a lap. He's got Trent Lavis just ahead of him, 8th. So Stark, Proctor and Henderson aren't going to factor in the results here. Stark's going to be a lap down. Everybody else is going to get home on the lead lap. Dane Noftov had a 30-second run down pit lane as well, unexplained. But Sam Chapman's on his way to the checkered flag. 3 different winners tonight here on the platforms. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club in Spreyton side Formula V. Baldwin forcing the issue with Schmidtke. Baldwin back into the top 5 after his moment with David Baz. Chapman gets the job done, back in victory lane. It'll be a round win, I would imagine, to Adam Lavis with 2 seconds in the first. And Joe Baldwin, have a look at this. Piper's taken 4. Oh, wow. Wow. Schmidtke around the outside of Baldwin. McKenzie got 3rd, pipped off, or held off Piper rather. Schmidtke pips Baldwin. Lavis fends off Nealon, Baz and King. And Ladder ended up 11th. Vizza was 12th, Padgett 13th, Noftov 14th, and Stark 15th. What the hell did we just witness there? Unbelievable. Chapman the winner. Well overdue return to victory lane for him. Lavis I mean, he just didn't have the ability to go with Chapo and reel him in the way Trent did him a few moments ago in race 2. But he had enough of a buffer to rest comfortably because Mackenzie wasn't getting anywhere near him. And Mackenzie did well to fend off Piper in the run to the line after that incident with Laver. So I was worried about the potential for damage on the Mackenzie car, but there just wasn't. And then Piper, Schmidtke, Baldwin, Lavis, magnificent. Nealon, Baz and King, the top 10. And Chris Stark joins us now in central commentary, and he might be able to explain to us exactly what the 3-minute hold in pit lane was all about.
Yeah, what a disaster race 3 was. I missed the start, and then as I came out, I ran across the white line, and I was actually talking to someone in Discord, just trying to help them with something. So I ran over the white line, and it gave me a drive-through. Then I lost it. Then I towed. Then I had to wait. Then I had to do another drive-through, and I thought, hey, I'll just keep racing, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And mate, at least you persevered with it. That's the main thing. Well done on that. Now, just very quickly, before we go any further, it's I'm having trouble here. I've got 2 televisions showing the same thing at the moment. I've got NRL showing Brisbane and Penrith. Penrith 16 leading Brisbane 2, just for those of you at home playing along. I am trying to get a score from the Socceroos World Cup qualifier after 27 minutes. It's Australia 1, Lebanon 0. So there's that one for you, and I'll get back to the AFL very shortly. In the meantime, back to you, Starkey. The incident there, as Daniel Correa perfectly times the replay of it, but that put pay to your night, unfortunately. I mean, the first 2 races were equally frustrating as well. How did you miss the start for race 3 there? Did we need a pit stop between the 2 races? What went on? I actually thought, and I said it on the commentary, that you might have actually been taking evasive action in your own right and trying to avoid potential carnage at turns 2, 3 and 4 on the opening lap.
No, I was talking to one of the members, being on the committee. I had to race some stuff. We're having a chat. I was typing and looked up and it said miss start, and I went, oh crap. Then I jumped in, and then I shot out the pit lane, and I ran across that white line, and it said drive through, and it just went from bad to worse to worse to worse.
Thank you for cleaning that up, by the way, because I had it on good authority that crap wasn't the 4-letter word that you used, but that's another story.
It wasn't the 4-letter word?
No, I didn't think so. Now, as for the stable tonight, mate, when we looked at Locked Up Sim Sports, I mean, good result in race 3 for Chapo. Adam Proctor has great Formula V race pace at the best of times, but just had no luck tonight, and down a couple of spots in that 3rd and final race. And eventually parked up and didn't actually even get to the checkered flag. Wayne Visser, another case of what might have been. Happy to see the back of Zandvoort, no doubt.
Yeah, Wayne tried to sneak on me for pole position in race 1, for the race 2 race for the top 10 swap, and I knew what he was doing, but I managed to break him off and get the pole, which didn't work out anyway at the end of the day.
No.
But yeah, Zandvoort's one of those tracks that if you lose connection with the front runners, you're done. They're going to take off and you're not going to catch them.
You're right about it being one of those sorts of race tracks. It was interesting that the driver vote actually went in favour of that track for that very reason. I turned up tonight and saw it, having been away for a week and a half, as you know, and couldn't quite believe it that we were here again. And I said to Daniel, I said, this could be potentially a little bit of a snore. And we didn't get last lap trillers at the front of the field, except for race 2 when the siblings put on the show. And we'll get to Trent Lavis about that in just a moment, circa Ferrari 2002. But in saying that,
21.
Yes, exactly. what it made up for, what it lacked in the usual excitement attached to Formula V, it made up for in moments that await the highlight reel or the intro video next turn.
Oh yeah, that turn, what it is, 1, 2, I think it's turn 4, the bowl.
Yep.
It's a really, it confuses you as a driver because you can go really high and it just rips up and it shoots you out the other side, and you don't think the car's going to grip up, but you just have to trust that it will. And it was amazing. You could just slingshot past someone that tried to run it low.
Indeed. Now next week, cannot wait for this. Hopefully a few ring-ins like Trent Lavis for the grand finale when we get to Phillip Island, mate. This is a circuit that always throws up great Formula V racing.
Yeah, I like Phillip Island. I had some great races there with Mav and a few of the boys. I know the supercars, Super 2s and Super 3s are there as well. I was doing some practice today and I couldn't pull it up, so I'm going to have to work on the setup. I think this new weather system is creating a bit of havoc.
I think so. Speaking of havoc, there was plenty of that out there, even though the field was only 17 deep. What's the trick now to trying to get a few more bums on seats in Formula V next season, mate?
I don't know, because it's broadcast, it's great racing. I don't know how to get people involved. You know, maybe we need to change the night somewhere. Maybe we need to put it in a different time slot. I don't have the answer for that yet. We'll talk about it in the committee, I suppose.
I'm not going to lie. I like the idea of giving it prime time main course treatment the way that GT4 went in recent times. But we'll see how we go with that. Nicely done, Starkey. Thank you. Appreciate that. We will catch up with you Monday night.
All right, boys, have a good one. Well done, Trent. Did you win?
No, mate, I bloody misjudged a couple of brake markers. The guys were braking a lot harder than I was when I was on my own, so...
He had one W.
Great, such a shocker. Everyone was in red and blue, so I had no idea who finished where.
one W, one multi-21, and what the hell was race 3, Trent?
Like I said, I just misjudged where other guys were braking compared when I was by myself, so got caught out. And funnily enough, when you get tagged someone from behind the V's, you spin, not the person in front of you. It's quite strange.
That's right. Exactly. You pay the price. That was unlucky though, because you had good pace and you had the chance to take one off Adam, but you played the doting gentleman, bloody teammate, brother card and let him back through multi-21 style. Was that tactical with his championship in mind, or?
Well, I was trying to make it look like it wasn't bloody intentional, but the dumbass bloody stuffed up the middle section there in the hairpin, so I had to back out of it to let him through.
I love it. I'm all for it. That is terrific.
But no, I'm not in the championship. I just sort of jumped on Friday night tonight. I thought I'd jump on for a bit of fun. And these are always good, and I had to relearn how to do it in this new sim rig thing that I've got. I haven't got a shifter anymore, so it's kind of sucky without the H pattern. But yeah, it's just all a bit of fun.
There are so many different taglines that we can throw out for you blokes, but two that just came to mind: Gate Crusher and also Visitor. For you, Trent, because at the end of the day, as you say, you're not in championship contention, you're not a regular, you just rock up and whenever it's convenient, whenever you're able to, and make your presence known, and you certainly did tonight. That was a commanding win in race 1, mate. All the rubbish happened behind you.
Yeah, just put the cruise control on and see what made of it. No, that second race actually was a bunch of fun, coming through the field there, and usually race 2, there's the incident there, so just misjudged Sam's speed mid-corner, caught me out. But race 2 was good fun coming through the field there, because usually, you know, my luck in the V's of late, second race I just get blocked. Put myself in the wrong spot, you know, partially my own fault and all sort of stuff, but got a run of luck there with the boys in front, bloody parting seas and all sort of stuff. So yeah, it was good fun.
Indeed it was. There's another term that came to mind, but it exited as quick as it entered, so if I think of it later I'll come back to it. But in saying all of that, mate, real world stuff must be keeping you really busy, because we haven't seen a terrible amount of you on a Monday or a Thursday night. What's on the agenda though? How much will we see of you in grand final week?
Definitely GT4s, but unfortunately it's not telecast this year. Me and my
next Wednesday night we'll be on air. We'll be on air for you next Wednesday night.
Me and Christopher are in the run for the championship. He's about 40 points behind. At Interlagos in the Mercedes. I think we'll be battling for like the podium positions, because the old Merc probably won't be too great around there, because we've got Johnny Merritt in the Aston Martin this year. So he's taken my favourite car, and it made us look like clowns when he's jumped in. So yeah, it should be an interesting race.
That is a 60-minute affair. It is next Wednesday night. It is 9 Eastern Daylight Time. You'll see it straight after our 86 finale from Sandown on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. So Monday night, that's going to be awesome, because it's Phillip Island and Spa. And we've got I can't believe I'm going to say
Do
this,
not try this move at home, ladies and gentlemen. This is a terrible idea.
I was going to say, I think also next Tuesday night's a terrible idea as well. Trent, Toyotas, Formula Fords, and supercars at Winton. You are the naming rights sponsor of the Lobesy Racing Up and Comers. How much say did you have in that, please?
No, the boys that are running the series are doing a good job of that, and I might even jump in for a quick look if I'm not too flat out. But it should be good fun. Like I did last year, I jumped in for a couple of runs.
That's right.
Some fun with the boys. Yep. So we'll see how we go. And I haven't been following it as closely as I should be, to be honest. But I've heard that, as always, cracking racing and really respectful racing in that series. So looking forward to seeing what they put on.
The clothesline circuit, as Dickie Johnson likes to call it. Wednesday night, Sandown and also Interlagos. Thursday night, Phillip Island at Interlagos. So there's a real Victorian flavour to a lot of next week on the platforms of the GSRC, but we do get a tinge of international in there with 2 trips to Interlagos. I am looking forward to that. And of course, Monday night at Spa, and we're expecting rain as well. So we're really excited about that. Hey, Trent, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Good luck on Wednesday night. We'll hopefully catch up with you Tuesday night as well.
No worries, brother. Chat to you then. Thank you.
Got to fly here because we've got 13 minutes before the Porsches will be on the grid at Spa. Hey, Sam Chapman, three of you guys got a win tonight. You saved your best until last. Trent Lavis, of course, winning race 1. Adam, race 2. And you, race 3. So, for all the trouble you've found yourself in Formula V this season, you still find a way to the front. You still have consistent, good pace. And it must be nice to get a W occasionally.
Yeah, it is. Usually it's a bit more likely when John Merritt's not the server. Yeah, like it's... I mean, it's a bit surprising. It's such an up and down sort of night. Like race 2, you know, had that spin and was able to make it back to podium just because this track just lends to these big differentials in, you know, pace and mistakes and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, no, it was a good night. I was really glad when Zandvoort got up because I really enjoyed racing it last season. I think it made great racing. You can get the grandstand finishes, but it just seems that as soon as people start fighting, you lose heaps of time around here. And it just breaks up the field as soon as people get boisterous. So you can make that break. But yeah, good stuff.
I didn't see the vote, but what other Grand Prix circuits were up for selection, please, for us to end up at Zandvoort?
Well, you're going to be shocked. There was also Villeneuve on the list, and Mugello. So,
okay.
So, I think we did Mugello in the 86s last night. It was unbelievable. It was really.
We would have had 5 wide easy in the V's here at Mugello.
Oh, easy. We just about did in the 86s, quite frankly. We got 4 wide, I reckon. So,
we did.
So those were the 3. Mugello didn't get a whole lot of votes, and I think Villeneuve lost it by 1. So it was close. Yep. But yeah, Zandvoort came in on top.
I asked Chris Stark the same question. What do you think about boosting numbers? How do we do it in Formula V?
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know if it's the night. What is it? I think. You know, I guess maybe using it more of an entry-level series. You know, whether we can somehow bring it in with the up-and-comers or anything like that, maybe. It could be an option. But yeah, I think these are one of those ones that I think people are often really enthusiastic with them. But some people get frustrated because, you know, it is sometimes a bit of a lottery, and people don't really like to lose lotteries, and you do every now and then. But that's also the fun of it, and why, you know, it is just a jackpot sometimes, and you've got to play around that last lap, and you know, obviously makes for amazing broadcast and that sort of thing as well.
Indeed it does. Now the next one, obviously 3rd in race 2, up 2 in race 3 to win the thing. Just talk us through the challenges of tonight, because it wasn't straightforward. I believe you got caught up in 1 or 2 incidents along the way?
Yeah. I mean, I jumped in. I sort of only started qualifying about 4 minutes into quality. He's only got one lap, so we looked super confident going to race away in that. Yeah, that was it. Still sort of that went down okay. The main incident was that one at race 2. Maybe that way for the was doing well. They did not want into that. So that was definitely the last before the weeks there. It's easy to do, but yeah, it was just like a little too. Yeah, we're still trying to go around the outside of Nealon, I think. He actually, I looked at it afterwards. We both went separately. Both spun completely separately. I wondered whether I touched him or not, but we actually didn't at all. It was just synchronised. So, yeah, I think it was easy. Just the way that this track, you know, the camber and all that sort of thing is unlike a lot of other circuits. And with these, you know, heavy rear engine cars with not a lot of grip, it's it can be quite difficult. Like that, you know, the bowl corner, for instance, we saw someone spin pretty much every race through there because as you're going into it, you pretty much
some of them more than once.
Yeah, and some of them more than once, because you want to take that outside line, but as you go in, you pretty much want to get it on the verge of spinning before you hit that throttle and power out of it, because that gives you the most sort of rotation and speed through, and you can gain a stupid amount of time through there, like, you know, 8/10 on the guy behind if you get it right. I remember Adam Lavis doing that last time we were here. He perfected that bowl and it just absolutely scooted out of it. So tough track, but yeah, good fun.
Indeed. Now I'm going to let you go on that note because we've got to get to Sean McKenzie before we go to the Porsches. Already looking forward to next week, mate. Phillip Island never disappoints when it comes to these things.
Never disappoints when it comes to these things, and Sandown in the 86s should be an absolute belter as well. So championship fights alive there, so we'll see what happens.
Very nice, and I know you guys are overjoyed at the fact that we are broadcasting that next Wednesday night as well. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
All right, let's continue on here. Sean McKenzie, good evening to you, mate. Nice to have you back in the booth for a post-race chat. First time in a while. Well done, third in that final race. By G, you had to work for it.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I hadn't done this track until tonight, so it was terrible in a heap of corners. I think I got rear-ended twice just from not knowing where to brake, so I was pretty lucky to get a podium.
Indeed. Talk us through the rest of the night, though, mate, because, again, good pace, but occasionally it didn't go. It wasn't straightforward. We were struggling to find one car that didn't end up in entangled in either a spin or somebody else's incident somewhere along the way tonight.
Yeah, just with that camber, it just throws a lot of guys off. It was pretty pandemonium, especially in that bowl when you saw people spinning ahead and you didn't want to slow down too much, but yeah, it was hard. Very hard work, but fun.
Indeed. And real world visa, you're still running there? How are we going there?
I'm doing university this year and I just haven't got time to get it done. So I'm taking the year off and just be doing sim racing. When I get time for that, in the last 2 weeks, I was busy with uni, so just get some sim racing in when I can, and that'll be about it for the year, I think.
And we know you've got some great pace under the bonnet there as when you do jump in the rig here. Will we see you for Phillip Island next Thursday night?
I'm hoping so, but I'm also moving house, so it'll depend on if the internet gets.
Don't worry about it being pandemonium on the bloody track. It's pandemonium off the track for you.
Oh, mate! Plus a 14-month-old child. That's, it's hard work, mate, at the moment.
Indeed, it is. All right, well, we won't hold you up too much longer, mate. Well done on the results tonight. A bit of a goat track for the class, but everybody's on the same real estate at the end of the day, and you were right in the thick of it and at the pointy end, rewarded with a podium. towards the back end of that race, and somewhat lucky as well, because we saw a couple of incidents there where a couple of drivers got rear-ended and thankfully didn't sustain any damage, as we saw there. So no, well done to you. Good performance, great effort. At one point there, was I right in saying that, or was I right in observing that you got caught in the middle of that scrap between Joe Baldwin and somebody else as well? Were you in the thick of that fight?
Possibly. I got a direct drive wheel like 2 days ago, and I just only got it set up, and I didn't have any. I couldn't change me black boxes or anything, so I was racing very blind tonight. So I've got no idea.
David Baz was the name I was searching for. It just escaped me momentarily there. And our timing monitor switched over as well, which didn't help matters, because the pictures are coming in from Belgium for the Porsches. Hey, Macca, we appreciate you stopping on by for a chat, mate. Good luck with the bub, good luck with the move, good luck with the uni. We'll see you on track when you're able to. Join us and grace us with your presence, mate. Go well.
No worries, mate. Hopefully I'll catch you next week, and enjoy the call.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. All the best.
See ya.
We might just jump off there for a couple of secs here, folks. Grab a breath and come back. We're going to leave the pictures where they are. We don't want you to miss the closing stages of the qualifying session for the Porsches from Spa. This is Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, all made possible thanks to Spreyton Cider, but also Waste Options, Player One Sim Gear, Loadsy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. It is great to have your company. It's a big night. We'll go around the grounds on the other side. We've got obviously Formula One by day, footy by night. It's a good week to be an Australian sports fan that doesn't necessarily have to go anywhere or do anything. You just park on the couch and enjoy yourself. An update from the NRL, the AFL, and the soccer when we come back. Stay with us. The platforms, the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We are partway through Thursday Night Motorsport thanks to Spreyton Cider. from the Titan Technical Zandvoort circuit of the Netherlands to something with a little bit more open space and full throttle. To the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium, ladies and gentlemen, to the second leg of Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport, the penultimate round of the Porsche Cup for this season. From the main course, well, what's usually the main course, I think this will be tonight, into dessert, and it's 7.004 kilometres. We're using the Grand Prix configuration of the circuit tonight. That just matters with regards to pit lane, obviously, and the start-finish line. 21 degrees the track temp, 19 the ambient, 4 o'clock local time, clock moving twice as fast as it would in the real world, and 15 km/h winds. Let's have a look at the championship points coming into this round. We'll have a look at the grid as well. Corey Lazarus and Todd Hayne on the front row. But Matty Dench leads, surprise, surprise, 411 points over Todd Hayne, 277. So Dench can mathematically clinch it tonight. We know that. Dane Snadden, 264. 248 for Spicer, 244 for Wilson. Get rid of it. Let's have a look at, watch Corey Lazarus as well on 238, just behind there, nipping at the heels of the top 5. There's the grid for the elite split. That's, of course, Todd Hayne alongside Corey Lazarus on the front row. Don't jump start it tonight, Todd. Matty Dench, Rd-9, second row, Aaron Cooper, Ben Pedersen, third row, Chuk Fung Wong, Dane Snadden, fourth row, Jonathan Hooper and Paul Wilson, fifth row. Sixth row, David Christensen and Adam Lavis. Seventh row, Josh Zuno, Andrew Neal. Eighth row, Blake Fitzpatrick, Daniel Piper. Ninth row, Joe Baldwin and Tristan Koch. We are set for a start from the Spa circuit in Belgium. And just very quickly, the open split at the moment, Adam Lavis, 384, leads Chuk Fung Wong, 367. 300 for Blake Fitz, 263 for Tristan Koch, and 191 for Joe Baldwin. So it's still on. Very much alive and well there for the taking between Adam Lavis and Chuk Fung Wong. 2 minutes gone. Ben Pedersen yet to join us on the grid. Is he about to be a pit lane starter? What about Zuno? Where are those two blokes? Come on, you blokes. Let's go. Ready to fire. Ready to start. Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Our final 60-minute hit out of the season for Spreyton side of Porsches. Let's go. A beautiful start through the middle from Rd-9. Watch him rock and roll on the run down towards turn 1. Todd Hayne has been swamped and he's lost a couple of spots. Hayne was almost in the back of Rd-9 and also Matty Dench there as they made it to turn 1. Down the hill for the first time. Chuk Fung Wong started 7th up to 6th already. We had Josh Zuno and Ben Pedersen out of this one. They haven't started. And they ride the ripple strips through Eau Rouge on down the Camel Straight. And we ride with Aaron Cooper side by side, the drag race, the slipstream, the draft. And now Linus Turner as Dench tucks in behind. Lazarus, the early leader. Oh, Aaron Cooper a little bit wide through the corner. Compromised his exit. Displaced was Chuk Fung Wong by Dane Snadden as they got through the first sector of the opening lap. We know it's about a 2-minute 20 lap around here for the Porsches. So with that, a couple of transits of pit lane. 220 is 3 laps every 7 minutes times 8 because 7 8s are 56. So that's 24, 25. We're looking at probably 26 laps tonight, if I'm honest. That's an early guesstimate on my part. Let's see how close I am. Lazarus, Dench, Hayne, Knight, Cooper. The top 5 in the early stages. Daniel Correa-Sar alongside Zach Caben for the call at the penultimate round of the Porsches. 4th fast race of the championship. And that guy around the outside early in the piece. Dench wants to lead from the front. Didn't get pole position, but goes from 3rd to 1st on the opening lap. A blinder of a start, sorry, and get by Todd Hayne as Hayne bogged it down. He's now got back to 3rd ahead of Rd-9 and Aaron Cooper. And then he puts one on Lazarus around the outside to lead from the front. Have a look at this again. Magnificent. Now, did the last down or get it a little bit squirrely? Let's see. Yeah. He didn't get the cleanest run out of the left-hander. That compromised the exit. Aaron Dench just accelerated up the outside and got it done. Dench to the lead. Catch me if you can. Will be the message that will be sent to the rest of the pack from here. And title number 9 could be his tonight. Extraordinary opening lap. 2:23.280. And as I say, looking at about a 26 lap race here. 2 minutes 20 by 3 gets you up to 7 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 7 times 8 is 56, so 8 times 3 is 24. 25 gets you to about a minute and a half to go. The 2 pit lane transits won't take that much time out of the clock, so we'll do a little bit of overtime. We'll get 26 laps, provided we go green all the way, which we should, considering there's only 16 cars on the circuit. I can't imagine a 1998-esque pile-up. If it was wet, different story, but it's dry. Bone dry, because iRacing hasn't blessed the Porsches with the weather system just yet. Let's have a look at Adam Laver, sitting there in 10th place at the moment, second as far as the open split is concerned. That championship up for grabs tonight. It's Lavis v Feng Wong, and Feng Wong is the leader of the pack at the moment in 8th place outright. Oh boy, we can take a breath now. 4 minutes into the race, we can finally take a breath.
Yeah, it was an interesting start. Nothing major. There was some contact in the first corner going into La Source between one of the HTS boys and I believe it was Corey no, that would have been Matthew Dench at the time. However, nothing's come about of it, and I didn't see anything register as too much of an incident, so I think it's a fair game and everyone just drives on. Interesting that Matthew Dench went out in front immediately, but as we saw on that replay, Corey Lazarus did have a little bit of a hiccup coming down towards the corner we're at now. So Matt probably thought it was a smart idea not to have to lift off and just take the position and work with it anyway. As Chuk Feng Wong is now looking down at Paul Wilson. Not in the same class. This is open versus elite, but if you're faster, you're faster. And it looks like that pink Rexy livery is looking to try and make possibly on the inside of the bus stop. No, he takes a sensible option and just falls in behind. And as well for the front guys, it looks like those gaps are starting to expand to 19.9. Oh, it's Jared Knight takes it from him actually with a 2:19.921. That's the fastest lap of the race thus far. So Matthew Dench almost a second out in front. Corey Lazarus 0.5 ahead of Todd Hayne, who is 0.5 ahead of his teammate Jared Knight in P4.
Oh boy. So Dench, Lazarus, Hayne and Knight. Knight the fastest lap of the race, as you say. Early days, early doors. We know that Dench will go at the shootout of those purple boxes, those Hollywood numbers at the end of this race. A lot going on a Thursday night. The karting stalwart that is Troy Hunt. Multiple Australian champion, runs the Top Gun school. Checked in at the Melbourne Cricket Ground earlier this evening. What a legend, he said. Learning how to do Melbourne properly. What a place to watch footy. These guys even get a point when they miss the goal. So Troy's getting an initiation into the AFL. It's lovely. And on that note, it is 7-4. Actually, make that 7-4-46 for Collingwood, playing 7-2-44 for St Kilda. That's the score as far as the AFL is concerned. As far as the NRL is concerned, it's Melbourne up against, it's Brisbane up against Penrith tonight. Panthers leading after 47 minutes, 26 points to 2, as Joe Baldwin has a spit. He said he wasn't going to have fun tonight in the Porsche around here. He knew that it was going to be a frustrating sort of hour at the office. Didn't like his chances of seeing it through, I might add. The Broncos have got a hamstrung team. They're essentially fielding their A side, which leads you to believe that Penrith should win this one in the canter. They've got 3 stars out of office for the night, and could have a few out for a while. So Brisbane's tilted trying to go one better in 2024, already off to a shaky start. As far as the Socceroos are concerned, 1-0 over Lebanon at half-time there as well. So a lot to keep across on a Thursday night. And Nathan Cleary slots the goal. 28-2 now in favour of Penrith. Whoa, here we go. Corey Lazarus moves to one side. Todd Haynes slides on through. First change at the top end of the tree for a couple of laps. And Corey Lazarus, I think, might be in a little bit of trouble. Or is this a little bit of racecraft gamesmanship going on for Corey? Was that a slowdown as he came out of the final corner? Or is he doing the fuel save tactic, trying to tuck in behind and ride with Jared Knight for a draft or a tow down the Camel Straight? Now, that was a very interesting exchange there. Neither one of them wanted to take front running through Eau Rouge and Radion. So keep an eye on that, because Deji's leading from the front. He's got 1 second on Todd Hayne, who has 1.3 on these two. who have Aaron Cooper arranging up on the inside as well. So Cooper's all of a sudden in the fight as Lazarus dives to the inside, goes through the right-hander, then flicks it back left, then goes right again. It's Linus Stern at the moment, 1, 2 and 3 there. Chuk Fung Long, best place to the open split at the moment in 7th. Adam Lavis next best in 10th. We had 16 starters, no Josh Zuno, no Ben Pedersen taking the green flag tonight. And I just had, I'm missing out on a really important sort of moment in family history tonight. My sister's brought a boy home. She's introducing him to the family at the moment. We're just getting an update that he supports the Bunnies, which is a team that no one in my household supports. We're also getting reliably, I'm getting text message updates from Mum. It's magnificent. And she said he also likes to use 4-letter words that begin with F. I said, good, he'll fit right in. So that's the latest from Bellbird at the moment, where I just left, of course, yesterday to come back here to Ipswich, and give me a couple of minutes at the end to just tee off about the debacle. You would have seen it in the news. It's been making headlines right around the country. The debacle that is the latest mismanagement and complete and utter SH1T show that is Brisbane at the 2032 Olympic Games. My goodness gracious me, you could not look like a bigger pack of idiots on the world stage if you tried. 5 laps in here, 4 gone and 22 to go. I think we worked it out to be 26 laps tonight. And Matty Dench leads the way. Todd Hayne is second, Jared Knight is third, Corey Lazarus, Aaron Cooper, Dane Snadden 4, 5, 6, Chuk Fung Long 7th, Paul Wilson, Jonathan Hooper and Adam Lavis make up the top 10. Only a handful of battles on the circuit, which, I mean, that was always going to be the shortfall tonight, wasn't it, Daniel Correa? Have a look at Corey Lazarus here. Have a look at Corey Lazarus up the outside. Thank you very much. Displaces Jared Knight. Lazarus back to third. Out in pursuit of Todd Hayne once more. That is the shortfall, I guess, with a field this small on a track this big. It could well be a processional hour if these two divide and conquer at any point and separate on the racetrack. But at the moment, the jewels are hard to find. There's only 3 of them on the track in a 16-car field.
Yeah, it's unfortunately one of the characteristics of Spa because of how long it is. So if there is a mismatch in pace, people will just run away with it. Obviously, we're talking about a 60-minute race, so pit stops, or at least a pit stop, will have to come into it, which is why you can hear some of the fuel-saving games from Corey Lazarus, Todd Hayne and Matt Dench. You can, if we jump on board, we can hear them pulling in the clutch on some of those key corners. But unfortunately, right now, Matthew Dench is just away with it, almost at a 2-second gap to Todd Hayne, and we know how good he is, even with the fuel-saving strat. So unless... Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I think Matt's probably put in just that bit more practice, and I think he's just going to be able to maintain the gap. He already has the fastest lap out in front anyway, a 2:19.74. The closest one to him is Todd Hayne, which is the car in P2 with a 2:19.87. So we'll see how it comes about once the pit window opens. But as you said, take a look at that timing tower in that top left. Yellow means that they're close, red means attack range. And unfortunately, we've only got maybe 4 pickings at that. And even then, they're not really in that. Looks like David Christensen might be able to get a jump here on Adam Lavis as they come into the braking zone. But no, because it's the bus stop, and you'd have to be a space cadet to try and pass on the inside there, or the bravest man in the world. He chose the safer option, and so he will stay in P11.
That bus stop manoeuvre seems to be one that you leave for very late in the piece, when it's all or nothing, everything's on the line, and you've got to go for the big send, but you've got to commit to it, ultra commit to it, or otherwise, as you say, you do pay the price. And there is a fair price to pay down at that section of the circuit. Well done, mate. Very nicely done. We're riding with David Christensen here, following Adam Lavis up through Rouge Radion and down the Camel Straight. Joe Baldwin parked up out of the race. He said he wouldn't last long, and he's just set out and proved it. So that's an early That's an early dinner. A trip down the road to KFC for Trucker. I think via race control. Firstly, he's got to go and say good day to Chapo, and then he'll depart for the night. Dench, Hayne, Lazarus, Knight, Cooper, the top 5. Just Lazarus, Knight fighting in the top 10 at the moment, really. Wilson and Hooper are in a small squabble for 8, but nothing really of any substance coming from that at the moment. These guys here duking it out for second in class, Lavis and Christensen, but surely Christensen plays the doting teammate here and just helps Lavis along. Every point is vital at the moment. We know how important this is, given that there are just, I think it was 17 points separating Lavis and Fung Wong in the championship. Fung Wong will claw a couple of those back tonight. Lavis still with the advantage, but every point counts at this end of the season when the margins between the pair are so minimal, and every twist and turn can break the championship in every way, shape or form.
So Todd's actually done a really good job here to maintain this gap. He hasn't really allowed Matt Dench to get away from him. Looking at the last lap times there, 2:21.13. Todd Hayne with a 2:20.10. And Corey Lazarus putting the foot down, 2:19.7. So he's done well. He's keeping him within that 2-second range. Corey Lazarus is just floating above the 1 second line to Todd Hayne there in P2. And Jared Knight is, of course, as you can see by the yellow indicator, within 1 second, but outside 5/10. And as you alluded to earlier, it is becoming a little processional, which is unfortunate of Spa. It is one of the longest circuits on the... Actually, might be the longest circuit on the calendar. It is 7 kilometres long, so...
Yes, it's the longest on the Porsche calendar, yeah.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So, yeah, fortunately, it's just going to be a bit more of this. We don't, and I feel like we should.
Could, but we don't. Yes,
I feel like we should, at least once.
Absolutely. Next season, why not? Grand finale. Sprint racing around the Nordschleife, I'm all for it.
It's too bad if you have to tow.
Top 10 in for the second race.
Yeah, too bad if you have to tow, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, just forget about it. Park up and you're done. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, it's Dench, Hayne, Lazarus, Knight, Cooper, the top 5. Snadden is 6th. We've got our eyes on Christensen and Lavis. The only other battle really is Lazarus and Knight, who's wedged between the two teammates there. Corey Lazarus, he's got Todd Hayne to the front and Jared Knight to the rear. And off-track alerts coming up left, right and centre at the moment as the cars enter the final sector of the lap. So everyone's leaving nothing on the table here. They're going to burn those off-track alerts as best they can early in the piece, I'd say.
I don't know if early in the piece is the right way to do it, honestly. I mean, it makes sense if you wanted to try and get, away and negate any possible draft early on in the piece. But I feel like you want to use them later on because that's when you know that you can use the pace in case you have to catch up or anything like that. Having said that, I am not of the caliber of any of the drivers here tonight in the Porsche Cup Series, so take whatever I say with about half a packet of salt.
What are you going to do with the other half?
I'm not sure. Whatever you want, I suppose. Maybe line your windows, keep the ghosts out. I think that's how that works.
Good call. I'll pay it. Don't forget this weekend, folks. I mean, I've been talking about the massive week that we've got coming up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. Our sim racing Term 1 Grand Finale week. It is going to be huge. 4 nights of broadcast, and we've got 2 races on the Monday night, 3 on the Tuesday night. We'll have 4. It's 2 races or 3 for the Toyotas. Daniel, can you help me out there?
The Toyotas should be 2 races, I believe, for the finale. It is a 15-minute race 1 and 25-minute race 2 with a reverse top 10.
So it's another 3 races on the Wednesday night, and then Thursday night's the pick of the bunch. 6 races on the agenda this time next week. You'll have the best seat in the house for the lot of it. But before that, you're getting absolutely spoilt for choice. Real world motorsport this weekend. Going to be absolutely marvellous. I mean, on the back of the Sebring 12 hour last weekend, just don't speak so brightly about. Oh, jeez, that was lucky. That car, the 234, was just about headed for the wall. Oh, sorry, 124, I should say, Aaron Cooper. Just about headed for the wall, but he managed to pull it up and get out of it. Only flick spinned it and pressed on. It's interesting, though. 6 races on the Thursday night, but this weekend, yeah. I mean, we're only just recovering from Sebring last weekend, but this weekend, Formula 1, supercars, Formula 2, Formula 3, Porsches from Albert Park, the Australian Grand Prix, and on that, I'm targeting, as I do this time each and every year, any journalist that gets it wrong by calling it the Melbourne Grand Prix. Right, it's in Melbourne, but that's not the title of the event. Report it properly, or find someone else that can. So the Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park in Melbourne, right? That's what I want to hear. Then, of course, you've got MotoGP in Portugal. That will be a beauty on Sunday night, early hours, Monday morning. IndyCar, the Thermal Club for their $1 Million Challenge. NASCAR, COTA, Van Gis's Cup Series debut. So much riding on that, so much to look forward to there. And then an Xfinity Series race there as well. And of course, you've got the Australian Superbike Championship, the World Superbike Championship. Look, there is not a bigger weekend in motorsport in this half of the year as far as I'm concerned. It is going to be well worth your time sitting on the lounge and just sinking your teeth into it and enjoying it, ladies and gentlemen. And added to...
Corey!
Oh, jeez, Corey Lazarus. Change the underwear, I'd say. Oh, he's pulling up.
Oh,
Lazarus is pulling up. Now, what the hell's going on there? He's gone. He's parked up. He's out. He's gone. Now, let's have a look at this. Through the right-hander. Flicked it. Oh. And that was it. And it was a weird sort of moment and an even weirder exit. I mean, the race is only 20 minutes young. He would have been able to recover from that, one would have thought. And Corey Lazarus has just parked up. Now, wow. I don't really know what to say to that, if I'm honest with you, because what that means, Daniel Correa-Sar, is that that man on your screen there, Matty Dench, is one step closer to title number 9. I mean, Lazarus was down on 238 points. It's Todd Haney's got to worry about tonight. The margin's 134 points. He only needs 105 or somewhere in that vicinity coming into next week. He's going to well and truly have that covered. Hayne hasn't got any drop rounds to fall back on. Dench does. This is title number 9 tonight for Matt Dench. And one less battle now on the racetrack for us to, sift our way through, unfortunately. Jared Knight to pit lane. Pit stops underway at the end of lap 9. We are in the window. We've completed the opening third of the race. But yes, Corey Lazarus has exited stage right, quite literally, and parked up. Whoa! Round goes...
That was Aaron Cooper, I believe.
Jonathan Hooper.
No, that's right.
Jonathan Hooper,
sorry. Yep.
In the 232. Oh, dear. So yeah, I mean, I was halfway through saying, from the other standpoint as far as other sports concerned, don't forget you've also got this weekend the AFL, the NRL, Super Rugby, Super W, the A-Leagues, the Socceroos World Cup qualifiers. So much going on. There's so much to sink your teeth into and not enough hours in the day to do it. Here locally, we've got local league on as well. It is a great time to be a sports fan, the end of March, the start of April. And of course, next weekend being the Easter weekend, everything stretches out from about Thursday night through to Monday afternoon, late Monday afternoon. So it's going to be good fun. Panthers 34 lead Broncos 6, make it 34-10 as the Broncos mount some sort of a comeback, but I think they've left their run too late. 60 minutes gone and 24 points behind. Matty Dench leads. Todd Hayne is second, 1.8 the margin. Dench just controlling this race nicely. Have a look at how the pace has come off the front end of town as well, Daniel. These guys know what they're up to. 220.5 last time for Dench, 220.3 for Hayne, 221.6 for Snadden. Up to third now, Dane Snadden, as we wait for the first round of pit stops to properly play out. Jared Knight on a different strategy. So the top end of town, even though they've posted times in the 219s, early 220s, it's comfortable 2-minute 20 pace for the front end of the field at the moment. Now, I'm still on the wires. Whoa, no trouble! I was still none the wiser as to what happened to Corey Lazarus, but right now our focus is David Christensen and Blake Fitzpatrick. Those two have gone to the side of one another. And Fitzpatrick has been compromised there. Christensen, oh, there was no room. And Christensen also compromised. The big winner in all of that was Andrew Neil, up 4 spots now. And the top 3 are all on pit road. Detch, Hayne and Snadden. So, I was only complaining. I was only, I was a bit deflated there a couple of minutes ago, Daniel Correa, sir. Trust race car drivers to be entertainers as well as race car drivers, because just when I was a bit deflated about the potential for this to become a very boring processional type snooze fest for 40 minutes, how much action have we had in the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, and it looks like everybody has come into the pits. Everyone.
Jared Knight goes for track
pits.
Position. He was 1 lap ahead of the train, as you say, Daniel.
Yeah,
and,
he pit lap 9, that's right, yeah.
He's come out in 3rd place as a result of that. So we're not really surprised by that, but he's right on the tail of his teammate Todd Hayne now. So those two can push one another along and work together to the second round of pit stops. They don't have to go as far as 10 laps this time round, because as I said, we're looking at a 26 lap race. So, I mean, Knight is well and truly in the fuel window here.
And also,
it's not as though he's hamstrung himself and compromised his run. It's you're right, though. Absolutely everybody. So 2 retirements thus far. Joe Baldwin, Corey Lazarus, lap 4, lap 8. And everyone came in that time around, except for Jared Knight, who came through last time around. So the field is cleansed first timer.
Yeah, and have a look at that pit lane transit and pit time. It's another typical showing. Matthew Dench had a 38.52 total pit lane transit time with a 12.1 in the box. Todd Hayne with a 14.67 in the box. And Matt Dench is still playing the typical fuel game. He's putting less in the car, saving a little bit more. That allowed him to get out ahead 6 seconds. He resolved that stop. 6 seconds. He's down the road now to Todd Hayne. And yeah, it's just, honestly, it's par for the course. We know this, right? It isn't a surprise anymore, but it's still something you watch, and you just watch in awe, because his ability to just take that speed, maintain that pace, he knows every single parameter he needs to know. He knows the goal, he knows what he needs to hit, he knows how much fuel he has to save. And yeah, when you just maximize every single little bit of it, this is what happens. You just stay out ahead. And so the next, what are we talking, 35 minutes are just going to be Matthew Dench out in front and punching clean air. And you'd imagine, I'm not a betting man, but I definitely wouldn't bet against him. I can't imagine he's going to mess up anywhere. I mean, anything can happen, don't get me wrong, but we've seen this time and time again. I feel Todd Hayne's going to need to really pull something out in order to try and claw this back, or maybe even play his own pit game at the back end, right? Because they'll most likely come in again. I'm sure they will, and so maybe Todd might be able to do something on the back end to try and negate that, but I'm not too sure.
Excuse me, just while I clear the throat. A frog crawled in there a few moments ago. Matty Dench, Todd Hayne, Jared Knight. Don't worry too much about the two teammates. The worst thing they could do now is squabble. You don't want to take each other out in this position, because the double podium is there for the taking, especially now that Corey Lazarus has seen himself out. You're 13 seconds up the road from Dane Snadden. And let's be honest, you're not catching Matt Dench. Only Dench falling foul or something like pit lane speeding, or an uncharacteristic mistake that sees him crash out of business and wreck the car is, likely to result in these guys getting towards the top end of the tree they're fighting for the minor placing second and third at the moment, and they're probably already well aware of that. We often ask Nighty, and he just gets in there expecting to be racing for second. Every Thursday night, it's like, oh no, there goes Aaron Cooper. That's another off-track excursion for him, and he just scraped the wall. Another off-track excursion for Cooper. It's been a frustrating run for him in recent laps. Rejoins the circuit. There'll be a slowdown invoice to pay there, and then he can get back on with it.
That might be my fault. I jumped on board with him because I thought he might have a good attack there on who was it he was coming up to? I actually forget at this point, but yeah, I caught him at just the wrong time. He managed to go off, so a little bit too hard a brake. Going into that turn, it doesn't. Oh, and he almost snapped it again. You can see that the back of that car really twitchy there. So it doesn't seem like he's got a ton of damage, but based on the characteristics of the car, he's having a fight.
Indeed he is. But we often talk about these Porsches being uncooperative at the best of times for these guys.
Yeah, they're on a nice pitch,
a whole different element of challenge. 29 minutes gone and 31 to go, and Matt Dench leads by 7 seconds. Todd Haynes got a second on Rd-9. 14 seconds back then to Dane Snadden. This that you're looking at on screen at the moment, Blake Fitzpatrick, Aaron Cooper, Andrew Neil, closest battle on the racetrack.
Aaron Cooper is pushing. He's pushing hard to try and grab Blake Fitzpatrick here. Now, they're not racing in the same class, of course. Aaron Cooper in the elite, Blake Fitzpatrick and Andrew Neil in the open. And you'll see Aaron Cooper, my mistake, just going on the inside. And unfortunately for Blake Fitzpatrick, he gave the room, but Andrew Neil saw the opportunity and decided to take, or at least he's trying to, as he'll be on the right side as they go down towards Eau Rouge. And that's pretty sensible. Take it one lane at a time. Side by side through Eau Rouge never, ever, ever works out in any good favour. Maybe in V's, but not in any other formula. Looks like you'll keep the inside here. That's a good break. Yeah, well done. Andrew's not been able to keep up the speed, and then as they come through towards the next turn, yep, there we go. Andrew's going to try and shoot down towards the downhill section here. No, he'll fall in line, so that's a good one there from Blake Fitzpatrick. Will maintain P11.
So Fitzpatrick having a nice run. Fourth in class at the moment. That's being led by Chuk Fung Wong. 8 seconds back to Adam Lavis, and they've got about 5 back to David Christensen, third in class at the moment. These guys are squabbling for fourth in class, whilst also trying to stick with Aaron Cooper, but he's long gone now on a salvage mission. Not sure how much of a salvage mission it is at the moment, considering the next class car for him is 5 seconds up the road at the moment. Corey Lazarus, the big story of the night. A big tank slapper coming out of, I think it's turn 9 there at the Spa circuit, and all of a sudden pulled the car up to a complete halt, a standstill, after not collecting the wall or anything sinister, and pulled it into the lane and said, "That's it, boys, I'm conceding." And that has really sucked the life out of the race, if I'm fair, because we've really enjoyed, on the odd occasions he's been here this season, haven't we, Daniel? Corey Lazarus trying and ever so gradually making ground on Matty Dench in some way, shape or form, at least taking the fight to him and keeping him honest for, 2/3 of the race, maybe even 3/4 to be fair. I mean, Dench always finds a way to prevail and get to the top step of the summit, but he's had to work hard for it this season.
He has, and it's really good to see that type of evolution that we've seen from Corey Lazarus. And to be fair, that some of the other guys are making too, maybe not in the same drastic steps, but Todd Hayne and Rd-9. Rd-9's only been getting faster over time. It seems as though Ben Pedersen wasn't feeling too well before the race started. It looks like he had mentioned so in the Discord chat there. And Corey Lazarus has also hinted that he wasn't feeling well either. So probably was racing under the weather, had that moment, and then just thought, yeah, no, this isn't for me tonight, and has decided to back out. So hopefully both of you get better soon. It's never fun to be not at 100%. And having to do an endurance race at the same time, I can attest, is not a fun endeavour.
Not at all.
So Aaron Cooper here, chasing down David Christensen again. Elite versus Open. Can't imagine David's going to give him too much trouble. But it's interesting. Oh, again, the back of that car.
Yep,
he is forcing.
It's not happy.
Yeah, he's forcing every single bit of performance out of that car. But he's got to be careful because that's not where you want to slide.
I'm not sure we'll be getting the chance to have a chat to Aaron Cooper at the end of the night. But if we do, I'd like to know what the tyre wear's like on that car. Because it just does not look like he's on the same rubber, on the same circuit as everybody else. He's really battling with that thing. Might be his own setup choices, I'm not sure, but jeez.
Yeah,
it's off the rails.
Yeah, that's one of the big dynamic things about Motorsport, as he decides to. He thought the grass was a little too long just before Blanchimont, decided to trim it there. It's one of the big dynamic options with car racing is that you do have things like setup, and some drivers prefer a very tight-knit car, nice and easy, and some drivers prefer a very knife-edge car where it's loose. They prefer that snap oversteer because they can control it. And it's just great to see all these different variations, all these different types of parameters all coming together and watching drivers navigate them and control them in different ways. As for Cooper, he's making it, I mean, usually he makes it work. He's very fast. We've seen him in previous races. A little bit aggressive, sometimes gets himself into trouble. But in any case, it's one of those things where that's just the nature of his racing. But you can be fast all you like, but if you're not clean, you really won't make it to the end of the race. So he was so close there.
David Christensen's flirting with the grass there, isn't he? I mean, my goodness, and he's lost out to Aaron Cooper. It's not an issue for Christensen because that is not a class battle at the moment. Round the outside. What was that?
So
that was Andrew Neil going round the outside of Blake Fitzpatrick, and then Fitzpatrick getting Neil back. And Matty Dench is still 8 seconds to the good, just at the top end of the summit, by the way, just for those playing along at home.
Did he slow down?
It's not necessarily a case of who will win. It's more of...
I see. Yeah, he had a slide, and unfortunately ended up resolving in front of Blake Fitzpatrick, and Blake couldn't go anywhere. So, man, that was... that's unfortunate, because that's going to cause some damage onto the back of Andrew Neil's car, obviously, but it isn't Blake's fault. He had nowhere to go.
No, that's right. Dave Dench was trying to keep everybody updated by typewriter last week. Good on you, mate. Appreciate that.
And honestly, yeah, Dave's doing a great job. Yeah, he was commenting well. He was giving status updates on Matt. He was giving status updates on everyone else, telling the fuel, this and that. It was great.
He's more than welcome to come and write the subtitles for us anytime he likes. Absolutely. I think that's the best way to describe it. Translate for us. Transcribe. Transcribe's the word I'm looking for. Matty Dench, Todd Hayne, Jared Knight, Dane Snadden and Paul Wilson in the top 5. Have a look at Chuk Fung Wong. He's got 9 seconds on Adam Lavis, who is really under the pump here from Jonathan Hooper. Now, this is only of interest because it's an outright positional fight on the racetrack where there are only 2 battles raging at the moment. One of them is between teammates. We're not terribly worried about that one. Oh, jeez. I tell you what, I'd like to get a look at the off-track chart for Matty Dench tonight, because I don't think it's reading true. There's been that many times in which his red light has lit up on my timing monitor here, but we know that iRacing tinkered and tampered with the track limits as Adam Lavis bails out of it, and rightly so. I'll come back to that and explain that in a moment. The iRacing have fiddled with it because, you know, if it's broke, if it's not broke, fix it. They've fiddled and played with and meddled with the track limits here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium in the past, and I think our timing monitor is still running on the old system of off-track alerts around here. So that is a little bit perplexing and a little bit confusing and a little bit of a challenge for us to work our way around. Thank you, Veronica. I'll pay that. It's true. I win every fight at the Christmas table at the moment, at the dinner table with the family, because they'll often get accused of being too loud or too vocal or talking, you know, more than I need to, or whatever the case may be. And I'm very quick to remind the family, with the point that ends the discussion, who among you, there's 6 or 7 of us that are normally at the table, who among you gets paid to talk apart from me? And that's when the discussion ends. Tristan Kosh off the road, a moment at the end of the Camel Straight. Rd-9 in third place at the moment, chasing Todd Haynes second. See, no off track really. They're allowed to use that ribble strip now, yet our timing monitor was lighting up red. Dench leads by 8.1. 2:20.1 last time around, 2:19.70's best. He'll go after a purple box number a little bit later on in the piece. Corey Lazarus still holds the fastest lap of the race. Do you get the fastest lap point if you're DNF? I'm not sure. 2:19.649. I know you don't in Formula One. Dane Snowden, Paul Wilson, Chuk Fung Wong, Jonathan Hooper. Now, why Adam Lavis was so content to just let Jonathan Hooper go there just now was that he's only worried about Chuk Fung Wong. Chuk Fung Wong's only, 11 seconds up the road on Lavis at the moment. So he's not going to worry about that positional fight because it's non-existent. And he's got another 3 seconds on David Christensen, who is the next car in his class. So he was more than willing to let Jonathan Hooper go. He bailed out of that fight real quickly. No good getting caught up in garbage if you don't have to, if you can help it. Now, as far as around the grounds is concerned, I feel as though we can do that now because we're 2/3 race distance. We'll be getting close to the next round of pit stops in just a tick. So let's jump in and do this now, because this time by lap 17, if I'm right and we're going to 26 laps, Daniel, right, which I hope I am, it'd be a change of pace if we're not. If I'm right and we're going to 26, and as I said, 24 gets us to 56 minutes at 2:20 a lap. We've already had one pit stop, so that'll bump it back a little bit, and 4 minutes and 40 seconds follows. That takes us 40 seconds to into overtime, but we can go as far as 2 minutes 20 into overtime if we have to. So, yes, again, 26 is the number. That means we're in the fuel window already. We're already there. Especially for Jared Knight, who pitted on lap 9. We're at the end of lap 17, and there's 9 laps to go. So Knighty could top up now and get home. Does anyone want to come in this time around? The answer so far is no. Dench, Hayne, Knight continue on to lap 18. Snadden, Wilson, and Fung Wong behind that. It's 34-12, Penrith leading Brisbane. Job done for Penrith with 3 minutes to go on the clock. The Socceroos now lead 2-0 in Parramatta against Lebanon, and at the mighty MCG, where we're in the third quarter, we're about to start the fourth quarter of the AFL. It's 11-7-73 for St Kilda playing Collingwood's 8-5-53. So there's around the grounds for you on a Thursday night. I love going around the grounds. Love being able to keep you guys updated. Another moment potentially there for Aaron Cooper. That time just a little bit too deep on the brakes.
Yeah, he avoided there well, so no harm, no foul. It just drops back a little bit. It's judging by the pace of himself and the cars around him, I'm sure I'll be able to get past Adam in a short while. Adam's also just driving a very sensible race. Like you said earlier, the only person he cares about is Chuk Fung Wong. Having said that, Chuk Fung Wong so he just switched the tower with a class split there. You can see he's 12.6 seconds down the road. So that's a monumental task for Adam Lavis. But there's still 20 minutes to go, so anything can happen. It's not over till you cross a checkered flag. Good dodge by Cooper earlier with Hooper rejoining. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Good save. I might ask you something too, Zach, since we've got some easy time here. So just harking back to Formula One. I'll get your opinion on this. So Formula One, to my knowledge, is the only racing discipline in which a blue flag means that you must give way to the faster car behind you. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It can be column A, it can be column B. It's interesting that you say that because obviously, I'm in the middle of counting down 8 weeks to go to the picture part of the Sydney 300 at SMP. We do something a little bit different. The blue flags are obviously still in play and they apply to lap vehicles and whatnot. But we also, for the pointy end of town, give them blue flashing lights that they can put up on their dash. Not cop lights, blue flashing lights. I said blue, not blue and red. Flashing lights that they can put up on their dash that also alerts the slower cars in the field. There are 5 divisions at the time race, right? The divisions are set on lap time, not car specification. And that alerts the traffic to the cars that are coming that have the right of way, so to speak. It's a gentlemanly sort of thing that helps tidy things up as best it can. Look, as far as I'm concerned, when I go and have a look at karting, blue flag waves, you must give way if you're a lapped car. If you're a fast car on a fast lap and the blue flag waves to a slow car, then, they're telling you to give way. It is a written rule in world motorsport. I don't know if it's a good thing for Formula One that any car getting the blue flag has to give way and make way because. But I'm assuming that you're talking about qualifying and practice per se more than anything else.
No, what I meant, it probably came across incorrectly. What I meant was that, for example, IndyCar have blue flags, but in IndyCar, a lapped car does not have to pull over and concede the position to the faster car. Whereas in Formula One they do. The theory going is that if you're of that caliber of driver, then you should be able to get past on skill based alone, and having the idea of a lapped car being able to maintain and defend its position gives another bit of spice, I guess, to the race. But the other side
Formula One needs all the help in that regard it can get, considering how many times we've watched races go from wet to dry, and the commentators, what they're sitting there talking about is, when are they going to deploy DRS? We need DRS. No, driver skill. Let the boys play. Now, it's interesting because I like the idea, but I don't like it in the instance where. Say it was a positional battle lurking behind you and you're the lapped car and you got 2 blokes on your heel, get out of the way, right? Yeah. Get out of the way because you do not want to be that person as Jared Knight comes to pit lane at the end of lap 19. So a 10-lap run that time round for Jared Knight. Dench has already been in. We've somehow missed that. There he is on screen whilst we're talking about other factors here. Dench came in at the end of lap 18 for 20 minutes, 20 seconds, 0.47. So he's now right on the tail of Dane Snadden. We'll probably make light work of him at the straight this time round. Jared Knight's on pit road. Todd Haynes, the effective race leader. Snadden and Dench go through. Knight slots back into 4th. Snadden will drop down the order when he drops in. Knight comes actually out ahead of Dench and Snadden, but Dench has the momentum and the speed up and sweeps around to displace Jared Knight. That is a lot, and I stress a lot bloody closer than I think any of us were anticipating Jared Knight to be to Matthew Dench. Now, what the hell has gone on there? Because Jared Knight's second stop was 11.03 seconds and Dench's was 20.47. Something hasn't gone right for Matthew Dench on pit lane. I'm coming back to your point about the blue flags, but yes, something didn't go straight forward according to plan for Matthew Dench in that second round of pit stops. And we've only just noticed this now because of where Jared Knight is. Jared Knight all of a sudden has a chance to win the thing. He has a sniff. He has a fighting chance here, which is extraordinary. He wouldn't have seen this coming. Nor would Todd Hayne either. And Todd Hayne, it's going to be in a beautiful position when he comes out of the onto the racetrack after his second pit stop. He should have hit all his markers and tick all his boxes, because he's going to have Dench in striking distance and also his teammate Jared Knight. Now that is that's unexpected. So what on earth has gone on there for Matty Dench? We'll hopefully have the chance to ask him at the end of the race. Going back to your point, yeah, you don't want to be that person that compromises somebody else's race. And we've seen it happen here on the platforms of the GSRC before. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. I just can't string the words together at the moment to articulate it properly. So the short fuel for the first stop, that might be a good point.
Todd Hayne comes in now.
From you, Collins. However, in saying that, his stop was at lap 10 and he came in on, he did an 8-lap run. So Todd Hayne's come in on the back of a 10-lap run. And I don't think he had an 8-second lead. So there's not 7 seconds difference in 2 laps of fuel, I wouldn't have thought. So let's have a look at how long Todd Hayne's on the box for, because this should not be a 20-second stop. 10.65, case in point. But Dench still finds his way to the front.
Oh, does he?
As Hayne comes round. Oh, Todd Hayne. Todd Hayne.
All right.
Have a look at this. We have 6 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen, and this race is alive and well.
Yeah, let's think about this. So we've got Dave here saying that Matt only put 11 or 12 seconds of fuel on the first stop and he's made up for that on the second stop. That's fair. But here's my question. Does that mean that Todd Hayne and Jared Knight have done this to where they can go absolutely flat out and have no worry of fuel? Because Dench certainly can. I am sure that Dench will have no need for fuel saving here. We know how fast Dench can be. He's going to put all the pressure on Todd Hayne here. The downside for Matthew Dench is that Jared Knight is behind him, and you know that they're going to play team games. Todd Hayne and Knight are going to play, going to work with each other here.
Absolutely.
So,
and if you're Jared, if you're Corey Lazarus right now, you're kicking yourself that you're watching this from the sideline. But you'd love to be in this 4-way fight, and you would have been too. Blake Fitzpatrick, Daniel Piper on pit road. They are the last 2 to stop in the motor race. We haven't had any retirement since Corey Lazarus parked up at the end of lap 8. And look at Dench giving Hayne the big hurry up here to the outside. Hayne is going to have to go into mega defense mode for the next short while, although he might not get the chance. Have a look at that from Dench and Hayne. Side by side, throwing 112. What the hell's happening here on a Thursday night? Dench has lost the rear end. Dench has done an Aaron Cooper, and he somehow saved it. And now all of a sudden, HTS at 1 and 2, and you wouldn't believe what you're watching on a Thursday night. What the hell was this? Side by side at a part of the racetrack where you probably bloody well shouldn't be, and then on the marbles, on the loose part of the racetrack, because that's not the line. That is not the racing line, and Dench's got it all crossed up and out of shape. Now he's got all the work to do, all the way to the checkered flag, and there are 5 laps to go.
Rare mistake there from Matthew Dench.
And didn't I say it about 15 minutes ago that it was only going to be a rare, unheard of, uncharacteristic mistake from this bloke? The incumbent number 1 that would see these 2 blokes come into the fight.
And let's just think about this too, right?
I apologise, ladies and gentlemen, but actually I don't at the same time, because this was as stale as a bottle of urine for a long while, this race. And now it's livened up just nicely with 10 minutes on the clock.
So let's just think about this too. Because of that slip-up, Jared Knight's been able to get in front. Now, you can just imagine Todd Hayne telling Jared Knight, almost echoing Alonso, defend like a lion. And as I say that, Matthew Dench decides to just put the nose in and gets it past. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to do the Great Wall of China tactic. But the thing that Matthew Dench has to be mindful of is that mistake, right? That's a little chink in the armour. So now he's going to be trying to push that little bit harder, right? And we know that he can turn it up. He can turn it up safely, but he's got to keep that in mind, right? He would have heated up those tyres. They're not going to be in the optimal range anymore. Todd Hayne, he's a second down the road. Matt's most likely going to make all that back. The draft is quite strong in these cars, but as he gets closer, all Todd Hayne has to do, just give him just a little bit less room, and maybe he'll make the same mistake again. So with 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes to go in this race, we might actually see an absolute spectacle.
We might. Thank Christ. Makes it worth the price of admission. We've had to wait 51 minutes for it to liven up, but now you're happy here, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Correa laughed earlier, but he knew I was on the money. We were all thinking the same thing. Someone just had to go out and say it. And it's not always funny when it's true, but it was in that instance. Todd Hayne, Matty Dench, Jared Knight, Dane Snadden and Paul Wilson, the top 5 here. Forget about everyone beyond 3rd. We're looking at the top 3. That is literally it. Now, hang on. Now, what's even more interesting here? Just can we put the class leaderboard up on the left-hand side of your screen there, please, Daniel Correa? So have a look at that. Adam Lavis has now found his way to the front of the Open Cup field. He's got 0.9 of a second on David Christensen, his teammate, and they have 5 seconds on Chuk Fung Wong, whose second stop was longer than Denchi's. It was 24.8 seconds. What the hell?
That lead just evaporated because of that. 24.88 there in the box. It's absolutely gone. So that has worked tremendously in Adam Lavis's favour. And we know that Adam Lavis is also, an elite member when it comes to fuel saving. He's very, very good at doing that. He knows the numbers.
All-star.
And so, it's one of those things where he probably saw it. From the beginning, he thought, no, I'm going to stay. If I hit my target, I might be able to make it back. Now, I don't know if maybe there was an issue there that caused Chuk Fung Wong to go longer, or did he have a shorter initial pit stop? I didn't catch that first pit stop time, how long he spent in the box there. But in any case, he hasn't just dropped back to 2nd, he's dropped back to 3rd. Adam Lavis and David Christensen now 1 and 2 in the open split. And as we still dwindle down, Matthew Dench is still in P2. Todd Hayne is doing an amazing job out in front. A 2:20.42 was the last lap there. He did have an off-track, though. We can see that on the timing screen. A 2:22.17 for Matthew Dench. Makes sense because he had that slight off. So, as we dwindle down, only a handful of laps to go. It's anyone's game.
Not he's consolidated there. He's racing for 3rd at the moment. He's racing for the podium. It's his teammate that all the eyes of the GSRC are on at the moment. Can he withstand the pressure? The 8-time champ. Or can Dench find a way past and put the icing on the cake that is title number 9 a week shy of the end of the season? This will ensure that Dench doesn't even have to turn up next week. Have a look at him. He does not even have to turn up next week because the job will be done tonight. But he'll come out and ice it anyway next week. Todd Hayne, what a moment this would be for him. His claim to fame this season, of course, was the jump start at Brands Hatch. But this would top that. With 3 laps to go if he could withstand the pressure being heaped on him by the immortal of this caper, as far as the GSRC is concerned.
And what a job he's got in front of him. Spa is one of those circuits. It's not even a simple circuit where maybe you can not have to worry about some of the corners when the pressure comes. You got to worry about all the elevation. You can see the car hopping almost all 4 tires over as they go over that curve. That line is the line you take. That is the fast line.
And here's one for you. As Dench goes to the outside, Hayne defends the inside. Corey Lazarus' fastest lap time hasn't been touched yet. 2:19.649. He retired on lap 8. Corey Lazarus' fastest lap of the race has not been challenged yet. If Dench can find a way by in the next 2 laps, he'll have a crack at it on lap 26 to the outside of the bottom of the track.
Might try and switch back, and there's not enough
room. He's trying everything right here to find a way by. The switchback's not going to work. You're right. It's 1-1. Traffic through this section of the circuit on the run-up to Puyong.
Now he's going to look to the inside.
It's risky. Inside. Have a look at this. Dench to the inside of Puyong. Can he work his way through? Hayne will force the issue around the outside. Now this is a repeat. This is a photo repeat of what we saw earlier. Dench now can get the job done and hold on and find his way to the front at long last. Well, it wasn't as straightforward as we thought it was going to be, but the champ still finds his way to the top. He's still got to hold on for 2 laps yet.
That's right.
He's still got pressure mounting from Todd Hayne and Jared Knight. This is not over.
That's
the
right.
champ is in front. And this is title number 9. Being sealed, signed, delivered to this man tonight. Now, he's not running number 1 for a change. He's running number 12. Todd Haynes got the number 1 on his car tonight. But Denchi will be the champion for the 9th time.
Wait, oh my God, he's going to drive through.
No, he won't be. He won't be tonight. Has he?
He must have. Why else would he come into the pits?
Exactly. Has he overshot it with regards to incident points? Now, that is an uncharacteristic
He's
mistake.
not in the transit lane.
That is unheard of from Matt Dench.
No, he's driving through. He's driving
it's just
through.
a drive-through.
Oh, no way.
What the bloody hell are we witnessing here?
Well, that's unfortunate. He must have gone one too many times over that line. I don't know what the X amount is for the Porsche series, but he must have got over that point and have to serve. I was going to mention that I didn't. It's not that I thought that this would happen, but I was going to mention that Tristan Koch was traffic, and Tristan Koch just so happens to be in the same team. And I thought, I don't know if they'll do that. That seems a little bit, not gentleman-like. But then we saw Matthew Dench come in. So unless both Todd Hayne and Jared Knight absolutely bin it in this last 2 minutes, Matthew Dench will not win this race. This will go to Todd Hayne.
Wow. Now, is he going to still win the championship tonight? Only Adam Lavis will be able to tell us that. So that is how see, this is what happens. This is what happens when the champ is put under the pump and put under pressure. It's a rare. He is human after all, ladies and gentlemen. It is a rare slip. It's an unheard of slip. But to give you an indication as to how little an invoice it was, he's still 24 seconds ahead of Dane Snatton. I mean, he's still on the podium. It's still 3rd. It's where he started the race, but he will be one unhappy chappy, I would imagine.
And you've got to
for those of you playing along at home, you can tick your bingo cards now because we are going to go on to the 26th and final lap. The white flag will be in the air this time by. The Zaculator was on the money tonight. Back to you, Daniel Caressa.
Yeah, you've just got to wonder, though, if Matthew Dench was that close and got a drive-through, how close are Todd Hayne and Jared Knight? So, obviously, if they've only got 1 lap to go, which I believe, yes, you can see Barney in the background there waving that white flag. So, if they've only got 1 lap to go...
Is he still at the grandstand with the masses on the opposite side of his
He's on the opposite side of it. He is. That is correct. Yes.
That's one thing iRacing should fix. I mean, fair dinkum. Give the bloke a flag stand.
But, I mean, I can't imagine they're going to go over that line now. And that would be very, very silly. You can take it easy because you've got an 8-second gap.
Yep.
But, wow, it was... wow. It takes
It's not normally the 60-minute races that trip him up. It's normally the sprints. What the hell? We're venturing into uncharted, unfamiliar, unheard of kind of, territory tonight, ladies and gentlemen. A HTS Racing 1-2. Jared Knight on the cusp of a second. And Todd Hayne in the aptly numbered number 1 on the cusp of a victory. And all because of a 15-second transit down the lane from Matt Dench, who will no doubt be out in pursuit of that 2:19.649 marker set by Corey Lazarus.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you burnt the off-tracks now, you might as well, right?
Yeah, may as well have a crack. Exactly right. Oh, my goodness me. Well, you're witnessing history here one way or another, ladies and gentlemen, because I still think, even with Todd Hayne finishing first tonight, he has no drop points up his sleeve. Denchi has a truckload of them. And I believe 105 was the magic number he had to have in terms of buffer up his sleeve to wrap it up tonight. So you are going to see a win for Todd Hayne. You're going to see a 9th championship for Matty Dench. Those 2 things are going to happen. The first, however, was far from expected. I said earlier that the HCS boys have become accustomed to the task of racing for second in this caper. sometimes third with Corey Lazarus, but that was another surprise, another sting in the tail tonight. Last turn, checkered flag, and Todd Hayne, at long last, has himself a race win in the Spreyton side of Porsche Cup. Jared Knight second. There comes Matthew Dench onto the main straight for title number 9. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. He misses out on the fastest lap tonight. He misses out on the pole position. He misses out on the race win. He misses out, as we well know by now, on the clean race. He didn't get any of the bonuses, but the title is his. It is secure. It is done. He does not need to turn up next week to Interlagos if he doesn't want to. There is no catching him. And it's not the first time that he's either wrapped up a Porsche Cup or a GT3 championship with 1 round to spare. There was concern that he might do it with 2 rounds to spare, but no, he didn't. It's 1 round to spare. And it's just another feather in an ever-growing cap of impressive performances across the course of a 10-week season from that man. Dane Snadden to 4th, Paul Wilson to 5th, Aaron Cooper, Jonathan Hooper 6th, 7th. Adam Lavis will lead the top 3 to the line. Have a look at how close that was in the end. The top 3 in the open split. That was them crossing the line, whilst we're seeing the praises and noting the accolades of Matt Dench. That was the top 3 in the open split. What might have been for Chok Fung Wong, David Christensen wedged in between him and Adam Lavis, and Adam will go into the championship finale with a slender advantage to his name on a memorable night in the end. It started out as a snore. I was about to go and make myself a coffee just to get through to the end, and then all of a sudden, someone flicked the switched the channel, and hell broke loose in ways that we never saw coming. And that's why sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, Thursday Night Motorsport is the hottest and the best ticket in town, because we've said on so many occasions that you have to expect the unexpected in this caper. Tonight, further proof of that. Todd Hayne 2.1 to Jared Knight, another 6 seconds back to Dench. Then Snadden and Wilson were not in it at the end, nor were Cooper or Hooper. Cooper's wheels and tyres, no doubt, relieved to get to the end and relieved to get a little bit of a reprieve now. Corey Lazarus that was just a sad story. Ben Pedersen, a non-starter. That was the elite split result for you. And the open split, let's have a look at that. Lavis, Christensen, Wong, Fitzpatrick, Piper, Neal. And the top 3 covered by 0.7 of a second. That might be one of the closest podiums as far as the open split's concerned in series history. You'd have to go back through the records, but I'm fairly confident. Piper, Neal, not in it in the end, and then Kosh a lap down. Baldwin a retirement, and so too. Zuno was a non-starter, as we know. Oh boy, I didn't think I'd be saying this at the start of the night, but we've got 2 blokes that are about to join us in the booth here, both of whom are going to be exceptionally happy with themselves. One is Todd Hayne, the other is Jared Knight. The HTS Racing boys have got a 1-2 to their name, and to be fair, gentlemen, good evening to you. Welcome aboard. You must be pinching yourselves. You couldn't have seen that one coming. No one saw that coming, least of all the way in which it eventuated. But occasionally, when the champ, the 9-time champ now, slips up, and it only ever happens rarely on the very off occasion. It's normally a sprint night, not a 60-minute night. You've got to grab those opportunities by the scruff of the throat. You kept him honest in the end, but what about that for you, Todd Hayne? I mentioned in the call the jump start at Brands is now probably a distant memory. It's probably his second biggest highlight of the season as far as the reel of GSRC Porsche Cup highlights are concerned.
Yeah, I feel like I've redeemed myself a little bit there. Still got a horrible start, but I feel like I've redeemed myself.
You certainly have. Okay, so question number 1. You guys must have been pinching yourselves when you came out after the second round of pit stops and saw that Dench was within sight, because at one point there he was 8-9 seconds down the road. Was that something that you were expecting? Were you surprised by that?
Well, we had a feeling that he must have short field in the first stop because he gapped us a fair way in the first stop. So we didn't think we were going to be that close to him, but we thought we might be reasonably close. And to come out in front of him, that was a bit of a shock. But then I had to get the defensive brain on and try to hold him off.
It wasn't just a shock for you; it was a shock for us as well, because we were partway through saying, only a small mishap or a minor miracle is going to help you two blokes out, and then all of a sudden both happened. We're still trying to recover and catch our breath from that one. You mentioned short fuel, so let's talk through your strategy and your race, boys. I want to get comments on a few things here. Haney, you've already acknowledged, shocker of a start, but you redeemed yourself, as you say. You had to work hard. You had to get past Jared again. You guys worked together for much of the second and third stints there. How was the car, and why did you guys make the decision, firstly, 90 to pit a lap earlier than your both stints, and then you to go long fuel, short fuel? And I guess the other question is, while we're talking car setups and everything else, how were the tyres? Because Aaron Cooper had an absolute shocker of the night on his rubber. I'm just wondering how everyone else fared.
To be honest, I had no real game plan. We saved a bit of fuel in the first stint. Tried to save tyres as much as we could in the first stint. We knew that were going to be a bit of an issue, so we did that. And then I managed to save an extra lap on Jared by the seams of it. And then he was right on me there at the end and sort of gave it to me at the end of Camel Straight. Sort of worked together from there, but yeah, the tyres were absolutely shot. They were every downshift, every corner, the rear was trying to slide, trying to let loose. So yeah, it was a handful.
I was going to say, they've never been an easy thing to steer around, particularly for an hour, particularly without a tyre change. We've spoken ad nauseum about the way in which these cars handle. They're a mongrel. The rear end's always squirrely. But if you were able to work your way through all of those inconveniences, the reward was there for the taking, and you guys snapped it up 1-2.
Yeah, no. I feel like we've done a good job. We actually pressured Engie making a few mistakes. Pressure him into a drive-through I thought that was good. Very happy with that.
No, indeed you should be. And that's the thing as well, the pressure. We don't normally see Denchi under too much pressure in this caper, but this Porsche season's been, even though the scoreboard reads that he's got the championship done and it's over, there have been pressure cooker races along the way where he has been tested more so than usual.
Yeah, I think we're all starting to bridge the gap, so hopefully with a bit of luck in the next few rounds we can take it right to him and keep the pressure on him and see if we make a few more mistakes.
On the subject of mistakes, next week Interlagos, a 3-race format. The Super Sprint night that we refer to it as. What are your initial thoughts on that, considering the second race will be where the fireworks go off with the invert top 10?
Yeah, I really like Interlagos. It's a good fun track to do laps around. Might be a bit tricky in this car because turning, braking, and there'll be some good racing because that track's good for side-by-side racing, so should be a very interesting night.
Pressure's a funny thing, isn't it? You two, it looked as though we took our eyes off your battle because we thought, no, they wouldn't be silly enough to get embroiled in a duel in any way, shape or form, but it must have been nice to be able to poke and follow one another along tonight.
Yeah, that was good. We sort of worked together and saved that bit of fuel and all the stuff we needed to, and worked out really well for us. Good to have two cars there to work off each other.
Indeed. Well done. A nice way for you guys to tick the box and get into the final round of the season. And it was important for you. I mean, Dane Snadden was down in 4th place, but coming into this round, he was only 13 points shy of you. To keep that battle in your favour going into the final round made another important box ticked.
Yeah, got to try to tick all the boxes from here on in to see where we can get, but yeah, very good. Very happy. Were you surprised to learn that Corey Lazarus exited stage right, parked up and retired as early as he did? Yeah, I was a bit surprised. Actually, he looked like he was really struggling through that section of the race. And then he just sort of decided he'd had enough by the seams of it. And yeah, here's what it is. I was looking forward to racing him.
I think we're all looking forward to watching him at least. And now we'll have to wait until next Thursday night. Okay, so two things here. The iRacing weather system hasn't joined us in Porsche Cup racing just yet. So with one eye to term 2, after we get through a 2-week break, observe Easter, school holidays, etc. and so forth, we reconvene. Do you guys commit to another full 10-week campaign in the Porsches here on a Thursday night, or are you looking to spice the challenge up a little bit and go somewhere else?
Yeah, no, I'll be back in Porsche for next season. I'm really enjoying driving it. I think it's teaching me some stuff that I can take into other cars as well. So yeah, I'll definitely be back.
And how quickly are you going to be on the typewriter or the email to iRacing and saying, or begging, pleading for Rain to join us here, or are these cars enough of a challenge without throwing elements like that?
I'll jump on the typewriter and ask him not to chuck it into these cars, I think. It'll be a nightmare.
Fair enough. Hey, Todd, stay with us, mate. I'm going to go to your teammate in just a moment. Well done. A couple of full-time scores coming in. Soccer is full-time against Lebanon, 2-0. They've got the second game of that home-away format. Lebanon aren't hosting rights to that one. They've opted to play in Canberra, of all places. So that's Tuesday night. You'll see it on 10 Bold. The Broncos went down to Penrith rather convincingly in the end, and St Kilda have got the job done. Yes, St Kilda have got the job done over Collingwood at the MCG. Full-time about 10 seconds away. 94-79 St Kilda. Home by 15 points, 14-10 played, 12-7. Jared Knight, everything your teammates said, I guess applies to you as well. You opted for a slightly different strategy. Let's start there. Let's say well done on second. Let's start with the strategy. Why did you opt to zig when they zagged?
I tend to like to just do a little bit different from what everyone else is doing, and yeah, thought we'd had enough of a gap to the cars behind that I wouldn't come out in too much traffic, and yeah, had a little side-by-side with Adam Lavis there, and then yeah, we were on our way, and yeah, actually come out a bit closer to Todd because they were a little bit further up the road, and yeah, just started saving fuel behind him, and yeah, was really surprised when Benji come out right in front of me after that second stop. So
I was going to say, are you getting any better at the fuel save, Nighty?
Well, I wouldn't say so, no. I tried to, but no, but yeah, I thought I was saving bucket loads behind Todd there, but yeah, he still managed to come out in front of Denchi, and yeah, it was a real interesting race to have the race of 3 at the end, and yeah, I just didn't have enough incident points and enough tyre to sort of have anything for the other two, and yeah, it was just lucky enough that Benji had racked up all his incident points.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, obviously, Spa's a challenging circuit to have a clean race on. The pace of that race was relentless. As we say, Denchi didn't get the fastest lap tonight. That rarely happens, so we know that it was a challenging night, more so than usual for him, plus the pressure being heaped on him by you blokes, and all of a sudden, yeah, the incident point limit has elapsed, and he finds himself going for an unexpected tour of pit lane. It must be nice to get one up on him. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah, 100%. I've been sitting behind Denchi for a long time in this club, and I think tonight was the first night he actually looked a bit human in front of us. So yeah, like Todd said, there's just a couple of mistakes, and he was sliding the rear around, and he still had the pace, but yeah, just those little mistakes kept him allowed us to keep in touch with him, and yeah, scored the 1-2.
Indeed. From your standpoint, we know you've got a love-hate relationship with this car. It sounds as though it was a mongrel to handle again tonight. How do you find it for 60 minutes? And when I'm talking about, you know, in terms of the handling and the tyre wear, was it similar to Todd?
Yeah, I actually had a secondary problem as well. Every now and then the car wouldn't downshift coming into the bus stop here, so I'd be hitting the apex in 6. So yeah, wasn't sure what was going on there, but it sort of only seemed to pop its head up every now and then. But yeah, the tyre wear was just horrendous. There was a lot of heat build up in the early stages, and then that just translated into a lot of tyre wear, and it was just sliding all over the place and just trying to keep it on the track towards the end.
Indeed, Aaron Cooper had an absolute mongrel of a time with it. We've already documented that. Hey, when we look ahead to next week, title's obviously done. We know that Denchi's got enough of a buffer there to secure it tonight. When you look at your own personal position in this championship, the fact that Trent Allen wasn't here, Teo Sorono wasn't here, helps you tonight. Corey's had a DNF. So all of a sudden, you start to climb up the leaderboard a little bit more, mate. Paul Wilson will be the next target. He's here for a chat with us now. But 3 races, 3 opportunities to make every point and position and lap count. How do you feel about Interlagos?
Yeah, like Todd, I love Interlagos, and I actually do like it in this car. So. And the 3-race format should suit me. Just balls to the wall for all 3 races. No worry about this tyre saving stuff, and just go as hard as we can, and just see where we end up, trying to get the best finish.
And a nice chance to familiarise yourself with this circuit tonight as well, mate, because we're back here Monday for 90 minutes instead of 60.
Yeah, I missed last Monday, and I'm going to miss this Monday as well. Or this coming Monday. So I'll probably be here, but I won't get home in time to jump in the server. So I might jump in the broadcast for a bit and watch on with keen eyes to see how the weather plays its tricks and see who comes to the top when it does.
Indeed. We are very much looking forward. We're excited about Monday night already. Looking forward to the start of Grand Final week. And I haven't actually kept up to speed with everything that's been happening there whilst I've been away. And it's well documented that not only did I go away for a work assignment, but also attended a funeral whilst I was down home as well. I was there at the wake there after the funeral on Monday night whilst you guys were racing. And just to give everybody an update, Denchi's lead over John Merritt is 73 points. So, I mean, he's got one hand on another title, but who knows what Monday night will bring just yet. 90's still holding on to a top 5 position in this championship, despite the fact that he's had a DNR already, despite the fact that he missed Monday night as well, so that's 2, and despite the fact that he's going to miss next Monday night. So we'll wait and see if luck befalls the likes of Paul Wood, Chook Fung Wong, Jonathan Hooper, Ash Collins, that are all within striking distance of United. You might still be able to hold on to a top 5 finish in the championship. We shall wait and see. You will get 5 points back according to this. You got 5 drop round points sitting there to be put back in the kitties. So that might just... is it 5? Hang on. No, my apologies. No, I'm reading the wrong column. You got 0. My apologies. So 280 will be your end score. It's now just a matter of whether or not the others can catch you and displace you. We'll wait and see.
Leave it at the hands of the racing gods, that one.
Exactly. Your thoughts regarding next season, mate? Obviously, we're looking forward to that one already. But I think a lot of people now, having tested the new weather system, will be looking forward to it being deployed among other categories as well, including this one here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I was actually thinking about this earlier today. I know it's still a fair bit away, but the Nürburgring 24, it's obviously probably the prime candidate to see what this weather system can do in some endurance racing, but it's not quite set up for all the cars yet, so it'd be interesting to see if iRacing do apply the tyre model to this car, and I think the TCRs as well being the other class. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it brings the numbers back to Monday nights in the GSRC next season. I'd say it might, but we'll just have to wait and see if they apply to this bunch. But yeah, I'm a bit like Todd. I struggle enough, so yeah, it's a no from me in this car.
All right, fair enough. We'll see if iRacing shares the sentiments or not. Boys, well done. HCS Racing 1-2. Lap that up. Enjoy this moment because I dare say that she, despite the fact that he's already got the title secure, will come back with the vengeance next week. He'll be on a mission, no doubt about that. Todd Hayne, Jared Knight, boys, thank you. Appreciate you sticking back and having a chat to us.
Cheers, Zach. Yeah, thank you.
And hopefully catch up with Nighty in his go-kart somewhere down the line this season as well. I think, I haven't confirmed it with your bosses at 4SKA yet, but I think I can lock in the season finale in Newcastle just quietly. If dates align with the Postie Bike Grand Prix on the 27th of October and then that on the 3rd of November, I think it'll align just nicely. Go well.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, hopefully see you there, mate.
Indeed. Paul Wilson, to you. Last cab off the rank tonight. Then we're going to get out of here. Everybody else has seen themselves out already. It's just us three left, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Carreras, Paul Wilson and me. Paul, well done, mate. I mean, for the early part, it looked like you were having some fun there with both Aaron Cooper and Jonathan Hooper. I'm just having a look. I think that's Hooper following you on screen on the replay here at the moment in the Oracle entry. Talk us through your night, because in the end, the winning margin, the positional battle was decided by, I think there was 9 seconds between you and Dane Snadden, but you had 18 seconds on Aaron Cooper and another 4 on Jonathan Hooper. So even though you had to work for it, it looked comfortable at the very end of proceedings, but I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of work in there, mate. Evening, how you going? You got me all right?
We've got you loud and clear, mate. Go well.
Yeah, good stuff. Look, my aim of the game was to keep it clean and try and look after the tyres. I ignored fuel saving completely because I'm just hopeless at it, but didn't fight at all early in the piece and tried to stay out of the road and keep it as clean as possible and kept the tyres in good shape. So it just it stayed nice and orderly throughout the race. Had a good time. It's cool.
Talk us through it from your standpoint, mate, because obviously we were worried at the midway point that it was going to ease out into a rather smooth, processional sort of affair. Then things livened up top, and Spreyton kind of lost the opportunity to come back to see you guys fighting for position. But get outright, 15th class, 5 position gain throughout the course of the night. Yeah, you had to work for it in the early part, but the reward at the end is a solid optics and a very, very good result.
Oh, mate, I work for every second of the bloody race, I reckon. But got it, mate. Yeah, no, very, very happy. That top 5's awesome. I know the numbers aren't brilliant, but there's still some quality races in there, and it's I've got to give a hats off to the boys in the top 3, particularly the top 2. The Serenity must be pretty bloody good tonight for you fellas, so congratulations. Yeah. And Chook, how's Chook's been this season? He's going unreal. He's been absolutely brilliant. So he had I think he got a slowdown. I got past him at one stage, but he came back up on me pretty quick, and I just let him go. John O'Hooper had the same, but I think they both had a couple of issues, and I got past them, and then after the pit stop just kept on going. I couldn't keep up with Dane, unfortunately. Gave it a shot, but he's too quick for me. But I feel I'm getting better all the time and thoroughly love driving this car. I've got to take issue with you calling it a mongrel. It's a beast, not a mongrel. It's
okay, I'll pay that. Well, let's discuss other synonyms off air, and we'll go with the next week.
I'd be very interested to see it in the puddles, but I haven't tried that. Haven't tried the rain yet. We'll see. I'll wait till it comes along for the Porsche.
And just to elaborate to everyone at home as well, now that we are past that 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Western threshold, we could, but we won't, elaborate on synonyms that aren't safe for broadcast, because there'd be a few of them associated with the car as well, not just beast and mongrel.
It's a gentleman's club, mate. Gentleman.
Exactly. Yes. You made an interesting point there, and I want to get your thoughts on it and get you to elaborate on it for me. When you say that you're working with this thing for every second of every lap, talk me through exactly what the work entailed, whether it be focus and psychological or otherwise, when in the latter stages of the race you had no one around you and you were just fighting with yourself essentially, going through the motions lap after lap, racking up the count. to get to the checkered flag, mate, because it's a very different style of racing, no doubt. And there's an example of exit stage left going on in front of you there, taking evasive action to your own benefit, of course. But when you're going through the motions, when you're in a positional battle, it's a different style and approach to when you're at the back end of the race there, and the car in front of you is 9 seconds up the road, and the car behind you is 18 seconds down the road.
Yeah, very much just about maintaining focus. Just take it corner by corner. Focus on the next corner. Don't think about where you're going to come or what's going to happen at the end. Just corner by corner is what I do, and just think about getting that next corner right. Can actually catch out when you do catch up with someone. You've got to remember to get in the battle or not get fixated on that car in front of you or behind you. But yeah, no, it's focus basically, particularly in these longer races. As long as I do, I think we used to do some 75-minute races in the Porsches, but the enduros, I don't go for the enduros too much. I'd much rather keep it short and sweet. It gets too hot and sweaty in the VR, so it's just keeping the mind switched on to the very next corner is basically the goal.
All right, mate, very nicely done. And what are your thoughts on Interlagos as a driver's circuit? Is it one that you like?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, she's a great track. I'm not brilliant at it. I always struggle through the slower S's bit a little bit, but like every track I feel like I get a little bit better every time I go back to it, and I still feel like I'm improving in the Porsche. It's a long, slow road, but you keep your ears open. Then she does throw out the odd tip here and there. You listen to him closely in the back end of these interviews, and there's a number of things I've picked up off him and hearing other guys say as well. So I'm getting better, but everybody else is too, so that's all right. That's good.
Indeed, and what about the rest of the season? Where else are you popping up for a racing grand final week, please?
No idea, mate. I'm pretty much. This is the one race I do a week. There's time, family commitments, and other athletic hobbies and whatnot. Sort of get in the road, and I love the iRacing, but I find the more racing I do it, the less meaning each race has. When I do one race a week, this race means a lot, and racing against these guys means a lot to me. They're all good, generally good, clean races, and it's good fun. So cheers, boys. I really appreciate the time spent in the car with you guys, and look forward to keep on doing it. Like to see a bigger crowd in the Porsches, but if we're getting 20 a week, that's all right.
Not bad at all. 16 starters tonight, 14 came home. I like what you say about never having too much of a good thing. You appreciate your iRacing in moderation, and I think some of us enjoy that approach to it. There's no doubt about that, because as luck would have it, and I am proof of that, you can have too much of a good thing. You can sometimes bite off a little bit more than you... Yeah, absolutely.
All sorts of... can I just give a quick shout out?
Yes, go for it, mate.
I forget what week it was. Was it last week we didn't have commentary? I can't remember when.
It was the last week because I was away. I was on assignment in Griffiths,
And it was interesting to... I sat back and watched the race, and we missed your commentary, mate, because your commentary's tops, but it really put the focus on the camera angles and what the guys do with the broadcast, and it's brilliant. It really is. You guys do a fantastic job, so good on yous.
Thank you, Paul. I do appreciate that. Well, should I say it or should I? No, I'm going to say it, bugger it. I do enjoy going away on assignment to commentate real-world events. There aren't a terrible amount of them this year, but there's, strangely enough, a couple more than what there were last year. So it doesn't happen all that often. After failed attempts to crack it with national series and events, and I'm looking at next week specifically at the moment, but there are a couple of others I could add to that. I'm just going to taper off and enjoy going back to karting, which is what the trip to Griffith was all about, and doing some state level events as well, because it seems as though that's along with the sim racing what I'm adequate enough for. And on that note, good luck to everyone at Mount Panorama next weekend. I can't say I'll be watching, just a little bit frustrated about a couple of circumstances beyond my control there. But no, I do appreciate it, Paul, and everyone says the same thing, and it's so bloody true. And it's even in sim racing circles, you wouldn't imagine and we certainly didn't imagine or appreciate until 2020 come along exactly how much commentary adds to the product in terms of an atmospherical thing, and it even applies to sim racing. So it's nice to know that people still appreciate what we do and enjoy it. So that is good. Mate, have a great weekend. Good luck. Go well. Look forward to seeing you next Thursday night.
Cheers, boys. Thanks a lot. See ya.
A top 5 finish for Paul Wilson that was overshadowed by all the drama that was unfolding at the front. I think we've only just now caught our breath back, Daniel Carrier.
Yeah, just trying to...
You're not so convinced.
Well, it's... okay, so I obviously have multiple jobs here. I've got to make sure I check on live timing and do the cameras and things like that, but I'm still trying to come up with the idea where, just... Dench got caught out with the early fuel stuff and got a drive-through. That's the first... I think that's the first time I've ever seen him get a drive-through.
Oh, we've said it before, but not in that instance.
Yeah.
Not for penalty points and incident points. No, not at all. I don't think, normally it's been a slip up in pit lane. He's either got done for speeding or he's not put the pit limiter on or whatever the case may be. But I think that's the first time, unless he gets Aaron Cooper will be happy to see the back of Spa. There's no doubt about that. But Denchy, if he gets a 5-second or a 10-second penalty, it's because of a minor bit of contact during a race. It's not often you see that guy because he prides himself on his 0X, as we know. It's so bloody rare to see him get done tripped up on incident points. But again, it just proves that anything's possible and he is human after all. We couldn't do this without the great support of Waste Options, Spreyton Cider, Player One Sim Gear, Lobesy Racing, MY of Australia and Flash Graphics. And we thank them very much for getting on board Term 1 of 2024 on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, which brings me to Grand Final week. Let's have a look at what's coming your way. Week 9 continues tomorrow night with Super Formula. They're, of course, heading to Phillip Island. That'll be good fun tomorrow night. 3 race program there for you. 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. The Mountain Men boys and girls will be in the Cadillacs on Saturday night around Mount Panorama for 32 hours from 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Not sure what Pete Matson's throwing up for those of you that are running the V8 Oval Series on Sunday night, but those details will be made available in their respective servers before the weekend is out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, broadcast. Have a look at this. Isn't it going to be beautiful? Bring your attention to Tuesday night firstly. The Watkins Glen Boot Grand Finale for 95 minutes of the GT1 Civil War. The race is not going to run next Tuesday night. It'll run Tuesday, April 2nd, the day after the Easter long weekend. Wraps up 9:15 Eastern Daylight Time. The reason for that is because the up-and-comers finale is going to be extended, expanded, and broadcast as well. So, with that in mind, let's talk you through the broadcast schedule for next week because there are a couple of alterations to it. Monday night, will bring you... Now, that's interesting. Are we broadcasting the AMSPlit finale on Monday night?
No, we're not. It's the Pro. That just hasn't been updated. No, I believe
Copy
it is
that.
the Pro.
I just wanted to make sure before I said
no,
it.
It is the Pro.
I didn't want to have an Anchorman moment. Phillip Island is where we're going to go first up, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time, the 45-minute finale for the Super 2 and Super 3s, thanks to Player One Sim Gear. Make a note of that. 20 minutes earlier on air, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time, or 7:25 even Eastern Daylight Time for a 7:30 start. That is for the benefit of those of you in Western Australia who may as well just not go back to work after lunch if you're racing in that. Because it'll be 4:30 p.m. local time when that gets underway, and same applies to Queensland. Good luck if you get stuck in traffic on the way home, and then you can blame the 1 hour and 112 year time difference. And don't say I didn't warn you, because people have been tripped up by that before. But yes, 45 minutes for the supercars, into 90 minutes for GT3. Matty Dench on the cusp of title number 9 there as well. That's 90 minutes around Spa Monday night. That race getting underway, 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Tuesday night, Adam Lavis and I are back with you. The up-and-comers from Winton, yes. Supercars first up, Toyota's second up, Formula 4 third up, 30 minutes apiece, and we're getting that one underway. I'm just having a look at the server times here. Race start is 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be on air 7:25 Eastern Daylight Time for that. So again, a slightly earlier start than usual. 3-race format, 30 minutes apiece. That's why, because of that being 30-minute race, 30-minute qual per server, that's why the GT1 Civil War finale has been pushed back a week. We did the same thing term for last season, so GT1 Civil War, 95 minutes around Watkins Glen, so that's a late finish as well. That's once that gets underway, 9:15 Eastern Daylight Time, Tuesday, April 2. That's 95 minutes. That'll take you back to 10:50 Eastern Daylight Time. Geez, late finish for some. Not sure if we're broadcasting that one at this stage, but we are definitely broadcasting the Live Z Racing up-and-comers for the benefit of the naming rights sponsor. Wednesday night, Sandown first up, 2 races, Toyota 86s, on to Interlagos for 60 minutes of GT4, getting underway 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Daniel Correa-Sar and I will be here with you for that one, and that features a top 10 invert for the second race over 25 minutes as well, the Toyotas. The GT4's a 60-minute feature, so looking forward to that. And then Thursday night, 6 races on the program. A very long broadcast to round out the season and lead you into the Easter long weekend. The broadcast will start at 7:40 Eastern Daylight Time. Phillip Island is the first stop. 3 races, Spreyton side of Formula V. No change to the race timings there or format, but we do have a different format on track for the Porsches. When we get over to Interlagos, getting underway 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. About 16 minutes for race 1, 27 for race 2. No, let me just recalibrate there and double check that I've got my numbers right. 20 minutes for race 2, and of course we will have 35 minutes or so or thereabouts for race 3. So essentially it's 70 minutes worth of racing that's being drummed up into that schedule there. 10 laps, 14 laps and 23 laps. The equation, provided that we don't have the safety car deployed, of course. Top 10 invert for the second race and double points on offer throughout the course of the night. It is going to be an absolute beauty. That will bring the curtain down on the season next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. GSRC merch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com. Not too late to grab someone an Easter present if they don't eat chocolate, ladies and gentlemen. I said to my family, don't bother with Easter chocolate for me. I've got enough chocolate, and I don't even end up eating the Easter eggs. They end up going in the bins. So I've said that for 3-4 years. They finally actually set out and did as I asked this year, so that was nice. But yes, for all the other relevant club information and to sign up, pay your fees, etc., race.tgsrci.com. And as far as the Enduros are concerned, even though we'll be on a 2-week break from Easter Monday and resuming April 15, there will be the second round of the Enduros getting underway, hopefully a little less haphazard than the first round, and that will be getting underway on the Sunday, the 7th of April, as a curtain raiser with the Japanese Formula 1 Grand Prix that same afternoon. Which will be join us for that. Liam Banks, Sam Chapman, Daniel Correa-Sar, and all the crew that bring you all the action there when the Enduros roll into town. I think that's it from us. We're done. The highlight of tonight is that Todd Hayne has finally put the jump start at Brands Hatch down a notch on the list of memorable moments for him this season, because it's been topped by, and I thought it would be hard to top, but it's been topped by a race win, a stick in the tail at the end, Matty Dench, an unexpected, in every sense of the word, transit down pit lane for a drive-through, and there you have it. Todd Hayne leads home Jared Knight, an HTS 1-2. They get the job done in the Porsche Cup. Adam Lavis, Trent Lavis, Sam Chapman getting wins in the Spreyton side of Formula V curtain raiser from Zandvoort. Some interesting racing going on there, some questionable moments and tactics, some people very happy to see the back of it, no doubt, but still 4 winners across the night, and Adam Lavis getting the open split victory as well. That championship on the line next week. We'll keep our eyes on that, no doubt. But the elite honours go to Matty Dench for the 9th time. He's the champion again. you shouldn't be surprised, despite this being a season in which he has been kept honest to a point. The cream always rises to the top. Hope you enjoyed Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. St Kilda getting the job done over Collingwood, Penrith over Brisbane, Australia over Lebanon, and now we strap in for an enormous weekend of real-world motorsport, NASCAR from Coda, the $1 Million Challenge in IndyCar, the Australian Formula One Grand Prix, the support card that goes with that, and of course MotoGP, World Superbikes and Australian Superbikes as well. You shouldn't be bored this weekend, because you are bloody well spoiled for choice. I didn't get a chance tonight to take a proper clip at Motorsport Australia. I'll do that on socials tomorrow, because what went down in TCR and Tasmania over the weekend left a lot to be desired, and it's not a good look for a category that's already up against it in so many ways. So I'll be getting stuck into that, and it all comes back to the loophole in the regulations. The reason for the protest, the reason why the race was called a non-event, despite the fact that it had run its time and it hadn't run its alleged distance or whatever the case may be. The race was declared a non-event in the sense that no points were awarded, which led to a protest from Tony Alberto, etc. and so forth. It's not a good look, because as far as I'm concerned, the irregularity is in the regulations. It says, should the race not reach its scheduled distance/duration? Well, when the idiots at Motorsport Australia that put it together say, oh, well, the distance is this many laps, or certain time plus one lap, when certain time plus one lap comes, as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. But that's the problem with time certainty. When you are in that position, you either put a lap number to it or put a time number to it, and all this BS goes away. So that's number one. And number two, I told you many months ago about the debacle of the Olympics here in Queensland, and now it's on show for everyone to see. And now I am very happy, because I've got two colleagues lining up here on Saturday morning on the Saturday Sports Clubhouse on West Brom Radio, ready to tee off with me, coming in off the long run, because everyone's had a gutful of it now. It is an absolute disgrace. And I often talk about this state being 112 years behind Daniel Correa, and there was an article in the Courier Mail yesterday saying that if they go through with their new, I think it's Plan 27 or whatever we're up to now, if they go through with that, to put the Queensland Sport and Athletics Centre front and centre as the track and field venue, which it should have been all along, it will be played out for spectators coming to watch it live in front of the smallest crowd numbers ever seen in 104 years to Olympic track and field. I talk about us being 112 years behind. There's a fine example of that. For a venue that used to host or hosted 60,000 people for the Brisbane Broncos Super League triumph in 1997, what the hell are they doing? Cannot wait to pick that apart on Saturday morning, and cannot wait for grand final week here next week on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. On behalf of the crew, that's it from us. We are done. I'm Zach Cabin on behalf of Daniel Correa. Have a great weekend. Thanks for coming along across the platforms of the GSRC, Facebook, Twitch and YouTube for Thursday Night Motorsport for the 9th time in 2024. Wrap up Turn 1 in a big way next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Be here. Look forward to your company then. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.